sinks in on
explodes.
He was very fast.
Oh no!
I need to show you a video of me doing stand-up badly because you showed one last time. And 3,
I tried to, but I was just so talented.
I know, yeah, you tried to.
Just like intangible red flag territory. Like he's not saying anything specific,
interesting.
But like just as he's talking, you're like, do not be in a room alone with this man.
Yeah, 100%.
So we can all love each other. No.
All right, great. Okay, great. This is great. What about him is an intangible red flag? Is it a way he appears, way he talks, hand gestures?
Do you know what the word intangible means?
All right, I'm gonna go have a piss. Ashley, you're in charge.
I'm in charge. Bitches.
I went down on a juicy poozy, and
got a fart, and this chair's gonna make it reverberate. Hey, wait! Hey!
Oh no! Everybody else,
Hey!
What's going on? I'm just waiting for music. I thought you were getting music. Oh, I thought you were just getting music.
How my penis gets born.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Here's a shed.
The ice cream cones came with a little metal packet that is just full of sugar. It's just full of sugar to be poured into the cones.
What has the Japanese not gotten a hold of, perfected, and then when everyone was like, "You did it," they went, "And now we'll begin." And you're like, No, you fixed it. It was fixed. Do not break it. They're like, no, we got to break this.
I still have some more questions.
Go ahead.
John Hastings is on America's Got Talent for 5 minutes, and now he's got houses in LA and London.
That's right.
Yeah.
You kept a house in London?
Yeah, I've kept a house in London.
Update: not sugar.
There's no fluid tasting enough to warrant sucking it out of him. No, but did he do it when he was then in the band when they were the 4 Bee Gees that brief time before then his heart exploded?
Wow.
I'm not saying anything that didn't happen. That is what happened to him.
I'm a predator.
And it was going awesome. And we even started having drinks at a bar, and we each had girlfriends with us, whatever. We're having a great time until I got comfortable enough to go, hey, we share a birthday,
As someone who's been eternally single.
Go ahead. Is it your fault? Yes. No, sorry.
Stop tweeting after your dates, Ashley. Stop tweeting after your dates.
Oh, bad news, Paul. You're getting a Batman bed.
This is not bad news. I am so pleased.
Support them.
But you know what's more important than helping people's mental health?
Fuck you, John.
I'm just saying. Tom, you're a comedy fan.
Here's what happened. So I came up after she finished a couple times.
How did you
I'm not one's not enough.
What a gentleman.
You go for 2. That's how you start it out.
Smoother crunches.
And then Jesus, boom. And so so when I emerged, I went to kiss her, and she just grabbed my face and she sucked it all out of my beard.
So hurtful.
That's a literary reference. Oh no, I gotta.
Hey, you can't tie me out now. I'm the only one here. Books, pages. Right. Verb, noun, adjective. Nice. Someone get me that.
I'm very prone to bullying.
No, you're talking about Andy Gibb.
I am talking about Andy Gibb. Pardon me.
Get your Gibbs straight if you want to come at me, bro.
Sorry.
Those nice bearded men and their Aryan friends seem like they're doing very different shows.
Marilynn's got pink eye. She touched her and all.
I tried to. It crawled away too quickly.
It's difficult with tea. Sometimes you try and tune it and you get Assam.
I'm officially declaring it. Jordan is the Governor General of the stream.
God damn it, guys. I took a Ritalin today. I can only focus on one thing at a time.
What is happening right now? screens. I want to have two screens.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Paul and I were walking through the park, and we walked past the tennis courts. A ball had gone over the fence. Paul went down, grabbed it, threw it over, and the young woman who was playing said, "Thank you, sir." Ouch.
Right, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna fucking take over this fucking festival, and you're not gonna fucking stop me. Why? All these fucking robots are all around the fucking city, right?
Yeah, don't knock a spit roast till you try it.
Just hang on. Can you just keep going? Make an appeal right now for us to stop this whole thing. Go ahead, Tom.
I think we should see Paul's face for this. There's going to be tears.
No, your junk in the trunk is not as prominent. Make the camera go lower now. Jesus. Now bounce your bottom, sir.
What are we doing?
Having a nice time. So let's watch
That's
it one more
Betty
time.
Crease's Jamaican for poop shoot.
So I'm on the toilet. The toilet paper's here. I grab some of the toilet paper. I stand up. I turn around.
Whoa!
Chris, John, and Irish Ashley combine to make the ultimate team, better than any wet dream. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream. John's the CEO and Boomer. Ashley's the real leader. Chris brings the vibes and juices as our enjoyment increases. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream.
Oh my God, Chris is back. Oh my God, it's like
Chris is back.
What's up, gang?
It's been 7 long weeks, and we can finally.
I've missed you so much.
It's been
That's right,
so
Chris.
long. How's everybody doing?
Well, Ashley,
Look
missed
at
you a
your
lot.
little face. Wait. Can I just? Oh my God, my mouse isn't working. Here we go. Look at him.
Good to be
He's
back.
back.
Hey, team.
Chris, as usual, just looks exactly the same. Like nothing's changed. Still beard, still borrowed, different glasses, but I assume that's not true.
That's it. If anyone's wondering where I've been,
The Cove. Oh, that's right. We're bringing it back. You've been in the Cove.
that's right. They said don't go, but I went, and now
did.
it's been 7
It's
weeks.
been 7 weeks.
The
Yeah.
Cove was before my time, and I still don't understand.
Wasn't
it.
even on this stream technically. It was
I
actually
know.
on a Chris solo
Oh, it happened.
stream.
Oh, it happened.
And Chris went into the Cove, and I don't really remember. It's been a weirdly eventful 2 years, and also we did this show every day for so long that I just don't.
So
I don't know any of the things that happen. Like it's insane that I don't live in that apartment anymore. Like I fully don't. Chris
I don't
doesn't-
live in
moved
that country
twice.
anymore.
Chris has moved
Chris has moved a lot.
coasts. I think you've had
A
3
lot.
coasts. 3
I've
coasts.
had 3 coasts, and I think like 6 or 7 different places.
Okay,
Yeah.
we will start. Finny P.
Yeah.
Your dad's.
My dad's.
That
Then there
like,
was
2 Victoria places.
You were in the hostel.
the hostel, the first apartment, the second apartment, which had all the fairy lights and stuff in
Yes.
Uh huh.
it. Right. Then there was the Airbnb when I first moved to Toronto.
Yes.
And now this place.
7. That's 7. And
That's
you're
insane.
you're moving to an 8th because you are going to another location briefly. So we're looking at 8 or 9 before the end of the year.
Oh, easily. Yeah. In the last year, I've lived in 7 different places, and none of them felt like home.
Let me say this. Are you guys ready for this? I think I may have only lived in 7 places total.
Oh, really? I lived in 7 places before I was 8.
No. Oh, okay. Let's go
Wow.
through. We can go through all of them. Davisville in Toronto, first apartment with my mom there. Grandparents' house I grew up in. That's 3. Totally fine. First apartment in Montreal. Second apartment in Montreal. Toronto apartment. Oh my God. It's not 7.
It's
but I
not
think
7, it's
I
more
think it
than
might be 9.
7.
I think it's going to be 9. So Toronto apartment, London place. First LA place, second LA place. Holy shit, 8 places total. There's a couple.
Wow.
I did massage. Some arguments could be made. I lived on the road for a year, so technically I
Sure.
lived nowhere, and also I lived in my
Everywhere.
ex-wife's place for 4 months, like on again, off again. Like there's stuff like that, which is like technically, but like my mail was sent to 8 places in my whole life. That's nuts. That's so few.
That's quite few.
But I also think that's like sort
That's
of
probably
normal.
more
Like my
normal.
life is not that way. Like when I was born, we lived in a trailer in Dawson Creek, and then we moved. I think we moved into a house there, and then we moved to Regina. We lived in 2 houses in Regina in Saskatchewan. Then we moved to BC, and we lived in the spider house, the one with the bushes that stabbed me.
I know what the spider house is.
Yeah, we talked about the spider house.
We talked about the spider
We did not
house.
talk about the spider house with old John Hastings. I feel I was gone that week.
It was a
might have
house.
been.
It was a house that we moved into when we first moved to White Rock, and it was like this big, beautiful house. And I remember looking at it and being like, "This is huge. How can we afford it?" And then we walked in, and the bottom floor, it was a 2-floor house. The bottom floor was just spiders. Everywhere spiders. Top floor,
nope,
no spiders.
Oh yeah,
no idea why.
So you just lived on the top floor.
So there were 3 bedrooms. My parents obviously got the master bedroom, and because I was older and therefore faster, I just ran upstairs and was like, "Dibs, mine." And I made my brother sleep in the bottom floor, and I honestly don't think he's ever been the same.
Your poor brother.
Can I just say this? And I'm working on this in terms of stand-up on a couple of things about childhood. But this is the thing now with kids is that they, like people who exist now, like I think about my brother, his parents were together. Like for whatever you want to say, like there was other stuff going on, but they still they had careers and they were figuring it out. Like, so, like my mom had a career, but like crazy at the beginning of it. So many things like needed sorting out, all that sort of stuff. Like people used to have kids and they were living in like trailers and shit. Like people would be like I remember people in Montreal when I was living there, like people that were already farty loser hippies. I remember one of them was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a kid because like I just feel like that's what I want to do in my 20s," and it's just like, wow, don't do that.
Yeah.
By the way,
the first house I
had
lived
that kid,
in.
very bad parent.
Oh no! Which one? Private chat. Private. Do I know this person?
Her name was Stephanie. She once burnt so much sage at a house party that I genuinely thought someone had set a dog on fire. And if I had to describe I've never seen someone who smelled so much like patchouli, like cocaine, so much. Like when you're just like, that's not usually the vibe of someone who goes to the Tam Tams. Ashley,
that's a
for
bad
those
combo.
what you need to know, Ashley, is the Tam Tams is a drum circle that happens in Montreal with such a level of lack of irony. It's fantastic. Like there is no one is there to just go to watch. Like people are there like, no, the drum gives me life. Like
That reminds me, I like during the Fringe, somebody told me that they went to some sort of not seance, but some sort of witchy midnight
Carl Donnelly
emotional reading thing.
Okay.
And I didn't really get much information, but it was just like they said that they kind of got invited along and just went, and then didn't realize until they got there that it was a totally non-ironic, let's all sit around in a circle and talk about our feelings, and they couldn't leave.
There's nothing. I will say that actually makes me feel very better because I assume we're going to do a full Fringe roundup here with Chris rejoining.
Yeah,
get this into the Fringe roundup. I do want to hear about the houses Ashley lived in, by the way.
Because the first house I ever grew up in was a house that my parents bought when they were first getting on the property ladder or something. Is everything okay, Chris?
I've got the last outdoor show today, and it was raining all morning, and then it was nice for 2 hours, and it just started kicking down.
I was about to say, I was like, that is
There's storms coming in all over the place, baby.
Oh my God, Canada is getting absolutely climate changed. Holy shit.
Sean Hogan, famous songwriter of the Clomp 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 song.
Clomp 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 Clomp.
He's in PEI right now, Prince Edward Island, for the uninitiated. And he was just sending me pictures from his street, and it's like huge, centuries-old tree through a house, street torn up, like it's fucked out there.
Wow! And also, hi, chat. Listeners,
hello,
live listeners. Hello, everybody. Welcome in.
What's up?
What's up? Sorry, everybody. Clap, 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 clap.
We were so distracted at being together for the first time.
I liked Baldy. Baldy just said Chris's brother is just a bunch of spiders in a human suit. He got replaced.
I really like that.
By the way, I gotta say this. Something
that'd be
I
a great short story film thing.
Wouldn't it just? Yeah. the Spider Gang just try and be a big boy for the like. We can do it, guys. We can do it.
No, you could see it being like an episode of Treehouse of Horrors from The Simpsons, where it's
Yeah.
like they go to a spider house and then Bart or Lisa or someone gets replaced by spiders, and then they just accept that they have like this spider being as part of the family.
Still do the tree? They must still
I
do
have
Treehouse
no
of Horror.
idea.
I don't know. They're on season 36. I saw though.
That is insane.
A lot.
Crazy.
Wait, so I'm 1 year older than The Simpsons? I hate
Yeah.
that. I hate that
Right?
a lot. Don't care for that because one day it's going to end, and then I'm
The
just gonna be
Simpsons,
like,
and
Well, I
here's
don't know
a
if
weird.
that's years. That's 36 seasons.
yeah,
Yeah,
they-
it's about-
they
I
do-
think it's one
they
a
do
year. Yeah, because
they do
they're
one
like
a
old
year.
school. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
know a
do
lot
one
of shows will
every
do like 2 seasons in a year. It'll be like a fall and a spring or something. But The
Yeah.
Simpsons, because they run so many, it
Yeah.
was it's got so The Simpsons has been running for the same amount of time as LeBron James has been alive.
I hate that.
The
even
Simpsons
more.
and LeBron James are the same age.
Let me tell you what
Which-
I hate more than that, which is LeBron's fucking thought that his son will play for the Lakers. You got to earn that jersey, LeBron. You got to earn it. You can't just do it because of what your dad fucking did for a living. Sorry, everybody.
Oh no, oh yeah, so that's Bronny. That's LeBron Jr. Who LeBron already says he regrets naming after himself because my God, imagine being named after the best basketball player of all time.
Yeah,
and
what are you
then
named
trying
after?
to play basketball.
Why do you have that
I-
drug addiction, Bronny? Well, you answered it when you said my name. Go ahead, Ashley. Telling
I
you.
really agree with Boomstickery's comment here. Halloween specials always scared me more than actual horror. The banal becoming scary is far scarier than
Completely agree.
The Treehouse of Horrors used to scare me so much.
Yeah, some of them were pretty
So
fucking
much.
spooky.
Some of them
man.
were really scary.
I remember that was the first time I heard The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe, because they have that whole section
I
that's
think I
just
remember
the
that.
poem.
Yeah, just the poem. They just do the Raven.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bart's the Raven, and Marge is Lenore, and Homer is the guy. But it's
Mhm.
so like haunting and spooky. And I'm just like, this is a poem. Why am I uncomfortable? This is a poem on a cartoon show. Just made me fucking tense. It was James Earl Jones. Good memory, Baldy.
It's also that thing of like just certain details changing suddenly make things something so terrifying. Like imagine if you're surveying a war zone and you just saw a guy in a white polo and shorts just walking through the war zone. You're like, well, I'm super scared of that. Like, I don't know what that guy's there for. It's not good. Like that guy's
That
like,
guy's got a
oh.
bomb.
Like you hope that guy's had a bomb. I'm hoping that guy's not just looking for a corpse to fuck. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of those in Toronto right now. Toronto is
Corpse fuckers?
experiencing a boom of gonna avoid that guy for sure. I saw half a tube or like subway carriage just stand up and walk to the other side because this one guy he was just sitting there. Oh, we got raided. Critical drinking.
Raid. Critical drinking. Thank you so much for the raid. Here's a raid video.
Trying to raid. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream with John and Chris and Ashley. Stick around and give us a follow. You are awesome.
Welcome,
Oh my god,
Raiders.
it's so long since we did that properly.
Welcome. I will completely agree. Listen, I have a lot of friends that are Canadian. I've been to Canada like on again, off again a couple of times. There is such a tension in Canada right now because essentially, unlike America, where a bunch of horrible stuff has happened, you've had the release of like the president changed. We had an insurrection. We've had loads of race riots. You know what I mean? Like we're making stuff happen, baby. You know what I mean? Action is taking place. Not always good action, but it's still action. And in Canada, it's literally been a stalemate for 7 years.
Stewing.
Like it's just this pretty man won't do shit.
I
But
mean,
the only
Ireland's kind of the same. Ireland hasn't shifted very much in the past few years either.
Oh no, but Canada has shifted. Like Canada's response is like the Conservative Party of Canada went from 100,000 members to 400,000 members and elected a guy that is like he's like, imagine if a James Bond villain was also a virgin. And like he's just this guy Pierre. I can't say his last name. Poilievre. And it just sucks. And it's just terrifying. But there's this huge tension in Canada. Like I'm not surprised that you're just like, well, I can't be next to this guy. Because I talk to people. And like the way Canadians talk about COVID, it's like for a year, someone just came to their house and fucked their mom in front of them. Like it was just like, and then my mom stopped liking it. It's really dry. Can you get me ointment? Like it's just like Jesus. I don't remember it being that bad.
I did a show last night at a golf course in the middle of nowhere.
Whoa.
And I was on with Nick Beaton, and he was emceeing. And so Nick's sort of like a more political comedian. So he had a bunch of COVID stuff. And some of the reactions to it were confusing.
Oh, yeah.
There was like things going with the truckers. They would applaud prematurely. Conspiracy. There was one woman at the front that was just like, when he said something that was a little vague about vaccines, like you couldn't tell where he was, and she just fucking went in big pops. And I was like, oh damn, this is where they live. That's interesting. This is
a friend of mine.
Immediately changed parts of my set. Immediately took out.
I mean, I've gone the other way in my slightly older age, where I have really started to antagonize people, mostly because I live in America and I have discovered you can say anything to Americans if you follow it up with just bear in mind I can vote. And like as soon as they do not like weird, like in Britain, they still get pissed off Canada, but America's like, oh, you actually can't affect change here? Yeah, continue with your opinions. I don't care. Like,
wow.
Well, for me, it was like part of me wanted to fuck with them, but it was also it's my last show before I move back west for a while.
Sure.
And I wanted to keep that relationship because I'm sort of cutting everything for a little bit, and then I'm moving around, and then and so it's like I'm trying to leave everything in a good spot. When I come back,
you want to be able to pick up. Yeah.
Just so you guys, for a program note, Chris is going to be smuggling cigarettes over the American-Canada border for the next couple of months. He just needs the cash.
I thought he was going.
Daddy's
got to
pay his bills.
You thought he was going on a what?
Going on a bear hunt.
Oh, you do that in the mornings, but you have to do something in the afternoons when you're when you're.
That's just my Saturday nights, Ashley.
Hey, come on! You want to know what the fun of that joke is? It's implying that having sex with a bear is funny, which we all know is not. It's actually very hard.
I read it in the gay way. Going on a bear hunt.
Yeah, it was a male bear. It was
what?
Yeah.
Chris, but you're. Hey, I have a question. If it is interspecies. Do you still stick to your sexuality if you're going to have sex with another species, or is it just games off? Like all like. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Interesting. So I'm going to say no.
Well, my sexuality's.
Yeah, exactly. You're not.
You don't.
Right across the board anyway. It doesn't make a difference.
Doesn't apply.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say new species, new you.
I think you're right. I think a lot of it is just any hole's a goal when you get into that area.
Don't like that sentence.
I don't like those people, and so I use that sentence.
Any hole's a goal. I can picture that guy. That guy is so Canadian. That guy hangs out at Comedy Bar and did an improv course 10 years ago. That's such an inside reference, but Chris is literally about to be like, yeah, he agrees. Yeah. Right, Chris?
Well, I just grew up with that guy. That was my whole town. That was my whole.
I mean, I feel like I get the vibe, even if I don't know the insider.
The kind of guy that up until maybe 2 years ago was saying to women occasionally, it'd be cool if you guys kissed.
Yeah.
By the way, I definitely saw a guy, I think, going for that.
I had somebody once say to me about my set, what would be really cool is if you acted out the orgasm.
Be worse though if someone said that to you about sex.
Is Chris frozen? I think Chris is frozen.
I think Chris is frozen. We had him
back.
Oh, this is not what I meant to bring up.
I mean, Glenn Wool is a bear. He is a bear. I'm not going to lie to you. Like Alex is not wrong on that. That Glenn Wool is a bear.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: do you think if you went Canadian comedians who are big in Britain that welcome back? In terms of like, if I was just thinking this, okay, so to get us back on track with Edinburgh, if every like big British comedy ethnicity got into a physical fight, where do you think the Canadian? You have to. So what it is it's posh English people.
Okay, we could take them.
Definitely going to take them.
Sorry, we're pitting Canadians up against all British acts.
No, we're going to go
specifically by race.
Not necessarily by race, also by gender and also class.
Okay.
And I think it's just we're gonna group them all. We're gonna group them all, and we're gonna see who would win in a physical fight. So it's Canadians, posh English dudes.
Okay, wreck them.
Yeah, posh English women, right there. Not wrecking.
They're beating you.
No, because that one also, by the way, that is such a much deeper pool.
As
in, people realize
like,
in that I cannot name two of the people I would 100% put on that team because I do not want to get a cease and desist order from one of the people, or I don't want my mom to be murdered by another one of the people who would fly to Canada and kill my mom as a message.
I mean, I want to know which one that is.
You know which one that is.
She's not rich, is she? Oh,
Everyone-
yeah. That's who I was thinking of. That's what I was
No,
thinking
no.
actually. But
This is who I'm talking about.
She's rich,
but not in the category that you said.
Yes, she is. That is all of a lie, Ashley.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Whoa.
Right? Just pieces falling in.
I mean, that person, I've been hearing more and more about that person
My
lately,
God.
but
We're not gonna get
I thought there was
What?
at least one thread of authenticity.
What?
Yeah.
Shut up.
I mean, this person. I mean, I was about to say something that I couldn't take back. Never mind. I'm not going to say because the chat would be able to figure out who we're talking about, and I'm not having.
I almost did the exact same thing. I had
yeah, so close, so close. Yeah, let me tell you how close it would be. It'd be like if I was trying to not reveal Chris. It would be like, it's just a guy whose last name would indicate gambling, and he's bald and has a beard named Chris. You know what I mean? Like that's how close it would have been. All right, so we got posh English dudes, posh women. I'm gonna go now. Standard white guy. Your Glenn. What's his fuck? Reese Piss. Reese Piss is, by the way, 8 guys combined. Reese Piss could be Reese James. He could be Brennan Reese. He could also, I love all of these people. It's just you could love. There's also a third one I can't remember right now. Oh, the Glenn, what's his name? He won. He was not nominated for the award, but everyone thought he was going to be
Glenn Moore.
Glenn Moore. You're just a white man. Canadians could beat the shit out of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, probably.
People that are working class. What is going on with Chris today?
I don't think I updated OBS because I'm an idiot. And
you don't want to do that,
weird.
buddy.
No, it's so stupid. And I'm back. Yeah, is there a group that you think that it would be faster to name a group that we couldn't take? Like, can you think of one?
Working class women, working class men. There's no way you could take either one of those groups.
You couldn't take the Liverpool group.
Disagree entirely. 100% could take the Liverpool group because the Liverpool group are not. There's like 2 fit ones. You know what I mean? Like they're not. Like there's a load to them, but I wouldn't say that they're the paragon of health. You know what I'm saying?
No. And there's also like
Adam
a lot
Rowe,
of.
if it was a physical fight between me and Adam Rowe,
fuck him up.
Like here's the thing: is we would hug, kiss on the lips.
Okay, let's not get into turf wars with like the biggest podcast
This is
going.
not a turf war.
Adam knows we love him. He'll talk about it on his.
I love Adam with my whole heart. I think he's a wonderful man. I think Dan is.
I like Adam a lot. I kind of got to meet him a bit more during the Fringe.
Let me say this. If he and I had a fight, it would be a bloodbath because we both just wouldn't want to lose. And also, I'm not coming at it a deficiency. I'm one arm down, but I would eventually beat the shit out. Like, because I want at the end be like, I got a word for you, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, just absolutely get out.
Oh, we reckon I could beat up Adam. I don't think so. I couldn't beat up many people.
But I think what you're forgetting, John, is how many there's our generation of Canadians, which is like you, me, and Dylan, who aren't necessarily violently.
I'm 100% thinking about bringing in the ringers.
Older generation do not fuck around. Like Glenville will hurt you. Craig Campbell is a maniac.
That's who I was thinking of.
I think Phil Nickel might have already killed people.
Who I'm thinking of is I would have to bury the hatchet with Sean Collins and Craig Campbell, which will be tough because Craig Campbell has blocked me on every conceivable social media thing based off of the simple fact that he was in the midst of COVID being really mean to Jack Carroll on Facebook. And I just wrote in the comments, God bless my ex-wife.
I remember you saying this.
I have used this since. It is the best. Just right. Who are you? And someone of that level cannot comprehend that someone wouldn't know who they are. And
also someone you've met so many times.
That's why
he's
so much meaner. That's also have not met him. Haven't met him once. I met him one time at an audition.
Really?
Never met him since. Yeah.
Crazy.
Isn't it weird that Sean Collins and I are from the same town? And I met him one time at the Manchester Comedy Store. And I was just like, yeah, you're exactly all of the dudes of that age from the Ottawa Valley, where you're just really into telling people about pussy.
Can you bring up David's comment?
I like that. Come on. I like that. I
Look
like
at
that.
Chris. Nothing wrong with a headbutt bets can bring in more violent backups.
There is nothing.
Hey, this is the show where sometimes violence is the answer.
I mean,
sometimes violence is the answer.
Can I just say this? I was in London for a full month. I ran into Alexi Sale 2 times on the street. Where that guy, I think, has the nicest apartment in London. I think he lives like at Holborn Station, is best I could describe, because I kept seeing him with an amount of groceries. Either that or Alexi Sale travels deep when it comes to groceries, because I saw him with like a week's worth of shopping twice in that area. There's no way you're going out of your way to go to that Sainsbury's. Like, he has to live in that area.
I used to see him in foils all the time, like the cafe on the 6th floor.
Yeah, he must live in that area. You're not hanging out at the. I mean, I hang out at the.
He would just sit there,
cafes,
and it was like, buddy, you can go better places than this. Why are you here? Irish people are scrappy.
I mean, here's the thing: is this would be the real bloodbath too, because also Canadians, much like Irish people, have something to weirdly prove to the English, and we would take it out on each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Ashley, you're in Scotland, which is close enough to England that you might be able to answer this. Has the whole "We Love the Queen" stuff died
Not
down?
done.
I
Not
am
done.
officially done, by the way. With the second I saw you motherfuckers were arresting people for calling Andrew a pedophile, go fuck yourself.
Absolutely
Go fuck yourself. You're
ridiculous.
fucking done. Eat my butt.
Honestly, like I was in Edinburgh gigging that weekend when she was in Edinburgh, and
She was not in Edinburgh. She was dead.
Her body was in
thank you.
Edinburgh.
It drives me crazy. They're like, her spirit still. It's like, no, her spirit does not
No,
hang over anything. She's dead.
I wasn't
know.
talking
She is
about the spirit.
I'm not. It's not free. It's not directed at you. It's just like, you just try and read about the goddamn war in Ukraine, and suddenly everyone's like, but before we get to things that matter, let's talk about this old woman who's still dead. And you're like, she's not coming back, guys.
No.
So, yeah.
But yes, her corpse, or is it cake? I tweeted that and I really expected it to do better than it did.
Don't get it. Do you not get it, Chris?
The
Do you
cake
get it?
thing. The
Remember,
internet
Is It
thing.
Cake?
Everything
There was a
was
whole.
cake.
There's a Netflix show called Is It Cake?
Is It Cake?
Where you have to, from a distance, look at things and guess which one's cake. It's an
No, that's
insane
not a show. Is that a show?
It's unwatchable.
What are you talking about? How is that? Why is it?
Because
why are
cake
we-
artists make something that looks so real and they put it next to a thing and you have to guess which one of them is cake.
I would watch that right now.
And I
would
really
cancel this
expected my
program.
tweet to do so much better.
You should, based on how exciting the premise of this television show sounds to me.
Yeah. Anyway, her corpse was in Edinburgh, but all the roads were off. Like, you could not drive into Edinburgh City. All the roads were closed off for 3 days before she even got there.
Yeah.
Insane.
My favorite was people where there was like a lot of people on my timeline guessing that she wasn't even in the coffin, that she's not there, but no one gave an option of where she was.
Great question. Let's wildly speculate right now. Great question. Here's what I'm saying. Andrew's house. I think.
I thought Charles's.
Interesting. I think Andrew's going to Norman Bates the situation.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think Andrew, because she sort of cut him out. She
did
you
not
know,
cut him out, as we now know.
She took a lot of his royal duties away, didn't she?
Well, no, that was Charles. And then she snuck him back in by having him escort her to his seat for Philip's funeral, and it's like, and she's the one who paid fucking Gouffre or whatever the victim's name is. I can't remember the name at this moment.
Yeah,
Gifre or something like that. Yeah, like
I don't think I ever heard it out loud. I just read it, but
yeah. But they're 12 million quidsies. Like, for fuck's sake, I'm guilty amount of money. Yeah. No,
yeah. What would have happened if it had happened during the Fringe?
Fringe would have, I think it would have killed the Fringe forever. I think they would have had to stop the Fringe, and the momentum never would have returned, because the amount of, this was my personal experience in the Fringe. I found it to be incredibly rewarding and incredibly difficult. My big takeaway from it is there are a lot of people that really, how do I say this diplomatically? A lot of entities within the Fringe felt that they were very important and needed sympathy, not understanding that every comedian has been struggling longer and had no assistance from anyone. So if that had happened, and so a lot of people walked out of the festival with resentments, both real and imagined. And if the Queen had died and they'd have to shut it halfway through, I don't think it could have recovered. I think at least 2 of the big venues would have gone down. There's still speculation that some of them may not. Like, I don't know. Like I heard craziness coming out of this Fringe.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what we discussed on a Patreon or not, but like I know more than one company was looking at bankruptcy protection.
Yeah.
A big producer is not coming back. Like
really?
Yeah,
Give that name. Give that name. Spill that tea, baby.
I'll give you that name, but I'm not putting it out.
Wow, really, Ashley?
I mean, I got to tell you, as it turns out, these guys were great during the entire festival. I got to be totally honest. They were
always nice to John.
They absolutely went out of their way to be somewhat supportive. And from what I could see, I'm sure there's people that have examples totally to the contrary in the way that I have examples that could be totally like, how do I say this? Like totally contradicted by other people's experiences. Oh yeah. No. Guys, don't think I don't fuck the private chat.
We say a lot on the Patreon.
Listen, that may happen.
I gotta be honest. Honestly, it's worth signing up. I get very fucking loose-lipped on the Patreon.
We should do a drunk one soon.
Yeah, we should.
We should.
Whoa, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
What, for real, Ashley?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can say that second part without mentioning the
actually, if I don't say who it is,
just don't mention the venue, because that's a crazy thing that people.
This is also true of two venues. Two of the big venues had on average of 7 shows a day. No, was it?
No, it was on average of 17% of shows.
That's what it was.
It was on average 17% of shows pulled every day.
Every day.
Oh my god!
Like that's the ones that are pulled.
Yeah,
and you
nobody.
know that as across the board, a lot of shows are doing badly. Like probably selling really low ticket numbers and stuff. So
that's right, Alex. The system works. The system works, Alex. I don't understand what's wrong with this system. System is fine and benefiting me.
17%. I think that's big venues, Alex. But I was talking to some of the Canadian comics that went, and like Andrew Barr. I went to go see him record his album, which is going to be very good. And
for sure.
He said that one thing that he hadn't thought of, and it hadn't crossed my mind either. They were in a free fringe venue, and no one has cash anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't think about that as a post-COVID thing. Nobody just carries cash around to put in your bucket, and and because it's Edinburgh, they were fucking 8 feet of 100-year-old stone between them and the internet. And so they had to like walk people out into the street
to
and
make
hope
the
that
card
they
readers
wouldn't leave
work
to get the card reader work.
Yeah,
it's like, man, that sucks. Like a lot of Canadians took a dicking this year.
Oh,
like,
so many people did. It's going to have to be a total reevaluation. I thought of that at the last possible second, by the way, that I was like, wait, no one has cash anymore, which is why I had a Zelle unit FedExed to Alex Hall's office at the Assembly.
I had a spare card reader that you totally
Are you
borrowed.
fucking kidding me? Well, it's fine. It's also it's
always reach out to the Troggies first, John. These are rules.
He was
to
like,
live
hey,
by.
listen, my day before the first, like that train ride up to the festival was an absolute nightmare. In that, like, it went from everything is smooth sailing to like, okay, reviewer was coming in on the first night, no tickets sold, like all sorts of like it was just one of those things where it was crazy. And then I remembered that and was like, oh god, we got to make it happen. I think it's going to be an incredibly wild and insane year preparing for next year's festival. I think next year's festival is also going to be quite crazy and insane. Let's go through the highlights. What did Chris miss? Ashley, you were out and about socializing. So you take us through, because all I did was
all month.
I mostly
room.
Yeah.
I was surprisingly well behaved.
Yeah, I would say you're quite chaste.
Ish. I
have a secret suspicion, by the way, that is deep private chat, and we won't talk about it on air. But I have a secret suspicion about something that did not happen, but I have a suspicion. That's what
I just want to trust Alex, because she's said this a few times. Alex, we're gonna just stick to the three of us today because we haven't all been on in a while, so we'll get Tuck on another time.
Yes, one day we do need to get Tuck on, because I want to ask him how his fringe went, because he also had an absolute crazy one. He
had a crazy one. I saw him towards the end of the fringe. He had like cuts all over his face, and I gave him a hug, and he was like, my shoulder is really painful, and I was just like, what happened?
What happened?
And he fell over.
Of course.
Yeah.
Which kind of was it, like fall over or John Hastings fall over?
I think maybe somewhere in between.
Oh, interesting. The Boozy John. I've been there. So most
Alex is
sober
saying he fell down the stairs of the Mash House.
I've never.
Yes.
By the way, that's the most sober I've ever seen Tom Tuck until I found out he fell down the stairs of the Mash House. So I'm going, okay, well, not totally sober, but he was because he was hosting ACMS with like guest hosts. Jean-Luc Robertson wasn't really doing it this year. He was wanted to concentrate on solo stuff and other things, and I think that was really good for Tom because he just couldn't get sloshed at that show in the same way, and he had to steer the boat. Very fun, by the way. ACMS remains a real highlight for your late night comedy fun needs, especially now that Spank is gone.
I did have a fun time on ACMS. I did I for the first time ever I did a nun costume outfit character thing, and it was really fun. It was really fun.
Would you, if you
I'll never do it again. But
why? That's what ACMS is for.
Well,
Never
yeah,
doing it
'cause
again.
that's what ACMS is for.
Do you have a favorite moment from ACMS? I have two. Like they are up there in my favorite fringe memories. I have two memories of ACMS.
You go ahead with
This year
yours.
or in general?
Just in general. One was my girlfriend, then wife, now ex-wife, now enemy. No, ex-wife was coming to visit Edinburgh, and like her plane was super delayed, and I was super stressed. And I just got the idea for ACMS, which was I blindfolded myself, and I said, I'm going to hold the microphone and say one-liners. You guys just have to crowd surf me around the venue without me knowing if I'm being crowd surfed. For the 10 minutes I'm going to do one-liners. And then I just did that, and it was so fun. Like the videos of it are insane because there's a gap between the two groups of people. Yeah. And I just started heading towards that gap, and you just see like Nick Duty, like just or someone just like run and be like, oh my God, we gotta do something. And then I made like over there, and then they just like it went back and forth. Oh, it's great. The other one was and this story isn't true, and I don't know how I didn't even do this, which was I occasionally do a thing where I'll bring on an audience member and I say, I'm going to tell a story, say more or less detail. And I brought on Chris and mine's friend Rohan's son, Rohan being a TV producer. And then I brought in his son, who at the time was like 16. And I told a story that did not happen involving the Chortle Awards, which I was not a part of. And told like that story in intense detail and named a lot of names, and none of it's ever gotten back to the people because the ACMS crowd, good people. And then Rohan told me to never tell that story again.
That's excellent. I went the night that I did ACMS, Pierre Novelli was on as well.
Oh.
And he was great, but I think it was before. Yeah, I think I can't remember if it was before or after he was on, but I think it was before. And I forget her name, but there was another act on, and she was a musical act. And she got on and she started her song. And you could tell it was going somewhere, like it was a joke written song. But she just stopped playing. And there was a silence for a moment where everyone was just like, what's happening? And she just went, I'm really sorry, but the shrooms have just hit me. And then it was like everyone was kind of thinking, wait, is this a bit? Like, is that? And it was not a bit. It was not a bit at all, because she was just like, okay, no, I can do this. I can do this. And so she got like a cheer, and then she kind of tried to start the song again, got up to the same point and just stopped playing.
Yeah,
and she couldn't get past it. And then she was like, right, I'll try a different song. The strings feel really weird. And it was one of those things where it could have been a car crash. It could have been ridiculous, but everyone was just so on board with her trip that it was just really kind of endearing and funny to watch.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, apparently Sarah's saying she was there. Sarah Kay.
Yeah, I met Sarah Kay there. It was so great. It was.
I also have to say this about. I also met Chris. So many Troggies were at the festival. It was so fun.
So many.
Combined, because the Troggies and also the rest of the review Cum Monkeys both did the same thing. A couple of them, which was like after they like come to a show, like great show, then they'd be like walking by you and lean in and just be like, "I'm Sarah Kay, by the way," and you're just like, "Oh,
yeah." It was very cool. Really,
the best was I had like a guy that literally looked like a bit like two businessmen, like Scottish businessmen in suits from work at my show. Both put money in my bucket, and then as they were walking by, both leaned in and went, we're cum monkeys. And I was just like, yes, this is so good. This is why we named our fans the cum monkeys. That you guys had to lead in. And also because usually I can always tell who the people that are into the rest of you are, because it'll be the guy who is just sat next to a very understanding woman, like the most understanding girlfriend, who's like, okay, we'll go see him do comedy, but I am not going to see wrestling. And then they're pleasantly surprised there's no wrestling in the show. And then as they're leaving, the one literally leans in and goes, my favorite was, I'm a cum monkey. And then I also found out, oh yeah, so great. I was about to just dox someone. Never mind. I just get so excited with people's fan identities. But yeah,
I think it was a lot of fun.
My just for my ACMS ones, I have two, and one of them was I just felt like I got to protect the ACMS sweet boys from drunken losers, because like it was in the that venue that they have downstairs in London, and I was going last, and it was like a really fun, nice show. And
what venue is that? I do not know.
It's where Martin Willis runs his stuff.
Yes, Objectively Funny, that pub that used to be. This is Deep Stream. The Hills Jago used to run. I once did. Hills Jago used to do auditions for her club, and they were hosted by Joel Dommett, who I also saw.
Oh, it was for the competition. It was for the new act competition. They Amuse Moose.
I understand, but did she do this for the competition where you had to do 2 minutes just to her?
90 seconds.
That's what it was. Yeah. So for the club, you got 2 minutes.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. I think you got. Oh no. I think for the competition, it was 60 seconds, and it was you and everyone else that was in the heat, and like hundreds of fucking new comics would apply to the Amuse Moose competition, and so it would be a room full of like 40 comedians, all terrified, all nervous, and then just like Hills, just sitting in the middle, staring at you. And she'd come out and she'd be like, if you can't be funny in 60 seconds, then you have no business being on stage anyway. So why would I give you any more time than that? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Just because you were friends with Jimi Hendrix, as it turns out, does not necessarily mean you know the dynamics of judging a stand-up comedy competition. That statement is what that reflects back to me. Yeah, just 60 seconds.
Yeah. And you can't leave. That's David's right. You have to stay for everybody. No leaving. Otherwise you get like shadow banned. But I was, but yes,
does she have gigs anymore? This is my now question about. Now I'm thinking about the Amuse Moose.
No, that's long over.
So what power? Like, what can she offer? Just the competition?
She's just got a domineering tone, and that's enough. That's enough. Yeah.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Indeed.
Yeah. But yes, I was. It was in that basement room in that same venue, and everyone was doing like well, and it was fun, and it was ACMS crowd, and then just for no reason, two drunk dudes in suits, like a couple bros, just wandered in, and the whole energy changed, and you could feel that like the crowd was nervous and all the like art comics were nervous, but I got to be like, I'm up next. This is where I shine.
Yeah.
I got it. I got to just like shut them down, do my jokes, do some fun, silly stuff, do some actual comedy, and just like shift the atmosphere. And it felt so good to just suck the poison out of that room.
Nice.
That was, I felt like it was like standing up for the kids that got bullied. I got this. I'll make you safe.
I have sort of the opposite of the story that takes place at this year's Edinburgh Festival, where I got booed off of Leighton Live. And it was kind of basically the long and the short of it is, and there's some stuff I'm not going to talk about, but spoiler. But anyway, the long and the short of it is I got into with some real bag of shit dickheads. And I
think I heard about this actually, and I remember thinking, why didn't he tell me this?
So I don't know.
Kristen was there.
Were you there, Kristen?
Kirsten was apparently in 4 different shows with me and never came and said hello to me, and I'm not okay with that.
I kind of respect it. She made a decision, and that's it.
So basically what happened was they were just shitheads. Also, did you know that steroids are now the #1 street drug in Europe and North America? Like more people are doing steroids than are doing marijuana, which I don't necessarily believe, but was evident, like is something you could tell in that there was a level of menace with these guys. They were physically intimidating. Security for whatever took so long. And then for whatever reason, they decided, no, we're not ejecting them. So then I just was stood there, and the entire crowd started turning on me because it looked like I didn't have the authority to boot out these threatening shitheads.
Yeah.
So, and I realized I was like, I can spend the rest of my now 12 minutes fighting this crowd and getting them back on side as I've done before. And I just went, I don't want to. I did that for 6 years. I'm not doing it. Bye.
Yeah.
And I just walked off. And what was so weird was Dean, our agent, was like, are you all right? And I was like, I'm fine. I feel like I literally felt like I was like, no, I've grown as a person. I don't need the approval of those people. I don't care.
Nice, man.
I do not care. And he was like, and like people were like, oh, like a couple people were like, oh, I heard you got booed off. And then what's even creepier is I went, yeah, it was great actually. I feel like really good about like Tanya Moore. I think thinks I'm insane because she was like, are you all right? And I was like, I'm totally fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I feel that I've like proven something to myself. And
I think that's a good move. And I just realized you told me this.
Yeah. And there's a detail that I'm not going to get into that I will illuminate to the two of you, but I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to get yelled at by
certain folk.
But just watch Chris and Ashley's face when they read that message.
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, every time.
And I was going to go wide with that information, and then someone pointed out that is legally actionable, so I need to keep that kind of quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it was just bad stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah, there was no okay. Yeah, that is so basically. But that's true of all the only artist bar that was guarded. I'm saying this to the Troggies. Little piece of advice for next year: all the artist bars were not guarded except for the abattoir. If you,
but it was that guy. But it was that
and,
abattoir guy, though.
Of course,
was always there. So you know.
Do you want to know who I ended up sat next to on a train up to Edinburgh? So I get on my train in London. My journey. Oh my god! I don't even think I talked about this on the Patreon. You guys knew I did this, where I flew back to LA to do a corporate and flew back.
Yeah.
So did that flawlessly. Got an offer for another corporate, which I then did, which made the whole thing like super profitable. Awesome. Land in London the day after a train strike. And also for some reason, all the flights, like internal flights that day had been canceled so that you could not get a train to Edinburgh. Because I'm a scummy artist, just booked a, you can do like an open return and you get the return. And then like weird things like on Trainline, it'll be like 1 cent more for that, even though but it's the same price as one way. So I just did that and then got on a train with the return, which they like were trying to stop people, but technically they can't stop you doing. But I had no seat. And I get to like the very top car, pretty empty, find an empty seat. I'm sitting in it at a table looking good. And then I see the guy, the abattoir guy, Canavan, get on the train. And in my head, I just went, I bet you I'm sitting in his seat. And he walks up and he goes, John, you're sat in my seat. And me and that guy, let me tell you, we shot the breeze for the next 5 hours. It was that guy. Because I was like, this will be like, well, it'll like round down and we'll read our books or whatever. No, man, talking about different types of weddings you go to. He made a really good point. No one talks about how England, Canada, America, Scotland, Ireland, Wales all have different wedding traditions, and no one's ever prepared for that. And I thought I was like that. A fascinating topic of conversation. Bike repair. Yeah. Talked about who's a real dick to him at the abattoir.
Nice.
Everyone you would think, by the way.
That makes sense. Yeah. I've seen it a couple times, and it's so funny every time when I walk by. I'm like, how are you mean to this guy? And I just walk by, I give him a little wave. He goes, and then just keeps just fucking with this person as being an asshole. It just takes half a second just to acknowledge me. Hey.
I gotta tell you, my favorite. So this was happening. For those you don't know, there's a bunch of artist bars. The abattoir is the one for the underbelly, year-round shit cunts, of course. And it's guarded by this guy in a big brown trench coat that looks like a riding crop coat with a suit underneath. And he will just not let people in, but he will stand there and talk to them about it for hours.
He has so much patience to explain why you're not getting into this fucking bar.
That's so funny.
So I got I was ordered to appear at the abattoir for 3 nights by Chris and mine's agent Brett, because quote unquote I have a reputation for being not around for networking ever. Was his quote, and I went, all right, I'll be there. And it actually like
I
still
agree.
could come of it. Not around. I choose not to participate. By the way, I was also not going to go. And then I said, can I get really stoned before Brett? And he went, yes. And then I went, fair. And I did. And I actually had a pretty nice time. Mostly I just talked to Sindhu V. And
Sindhu's the best.
And Sam, a nice American comedian who I should get on the show, actually, very funny. Sam Morrison, please check him out. And Alfie Brown was a good time. Anyway, so we did all that. But as we were walking in, 3 like drunk girls tried to do like the brush in with me. It was so good because they're walking up and like I was like, what's up, buddy? He's like, nice to see you, John. Nice to see you. And I'm walking in and I hear one of them go like, we're with him. And he went, you are not. and they went, we know him. And he went, well, what is his name? And she went, John Hastings. And then this is maybe the funniest thing I heard all festival, which is that he went, I can read a poster as well. Give me his full name. Because we had been on a train together and I illuminated him that my full name is John McNeish Hastings. But I realized I'm like, this guy's doing bits for me and I'm in the bar to people that are not getting in the bar.
That's excellent. I love that so much.
If you would like to go to a place where comedians are filled with anxiety and doing cocaine, the abattoir is for you. Also, not to spread gossip, I then also saw a very famous British comedian, definitely do, bunch of chimichanga in the bathroom.
Yeah. But of course you did.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Also,
I was talking to a friend of mine this morning about that Nigella Lawson thing. When everybody was like, Nigella Lawson does cocaine.
Of course she does, bro.
She's so famous. Yes.
So doesn't give a shit.
They all do it.
Am I the only one that remembers when they just marketed Nigella's cooking show? This was they never came right out.
It was soft porn.
Yeah, the marketing was basically like, this woman might get her tits out while she's making a fucking
meringue.
Yeah, exactly. A meringue. It would be
that wooden spoon, baby.
Yeah.
You wanna,
yeah. But like this
slow stir.
Before the proliferation of internet pornography, there were so many shows that were just like, this woman might get her tits out while she's at this beach. These two might kiss. These two, like, does anyone else remember the television show The OC? One of their season premieres was marketed based on like, these two girls, they might kiss this week.
What kind of cream pies?
I feel like Nigella Lawson could deliver Dylan Gott's greatest opening line ever that no one ever enjoyed. Are you ready for it? Yeah. Hi, everyone. Just broke up with my girlfriend. You know that means one thing. The baker's in town and he's making nothing but cream pies. High five, bro.
I enjoy that more than I want to.
I know, isn't it good? You've never seen an audience hate comedy more than someone. He opens with that. Top secret.
I love that.
Yeah, making nothing but cream. And this is 2015. This is well before cream pie. Like, not everyone was talking about it.
Like a standard piece of terminology. Yeah,
now I think it is. COVID really, I think, upped everyone. No one's talking about this, but the amount of jacking off that must have happened during the COVID lockdowns is insane.
I want to see Pornhub's stats.
Does anyone else remember
first March and then just like maybe like a little bit of regret in the first couple weeks of April and then right back up when we admit who we truly are?
Yeah.
Did anyone take advantage? Does anyone remember there was all those sort of free premiums that were brought out for COVID? Like you could just premium Pornhub for the first. I didn't do it, but I do know a lot of friends that have, and I think kept their memberships up.
Yeah, I've always wondered why anyone would do that, and then someone was like, well, you can just that one video that you want to see that you watched 6 months ago and you can't remember what it was called. Now it's in your account. It's in your previously watched queue.
Ooh.
And it was like, I actually get that now.
Here's the thing: I disagree. I enjoy the hunt.
Sometimes you just want to
disagree.
You just want to see an elk walk through the river.
Actually, I mean, I know that I believe you, and in a way, I weirdly do not believe you. Let me tell you this though about. I still think, speaking of Dylan Gott, the funniest thing that's ever been done on Pornhub is when Dylan Gott uploaded his stand-up comedy set to it. He did that so many years ago, and now a bunch of people have done it, but he's the first person I know that did it. Oh my God.
That's great.
Huge nerd sucks own dick at stand-up comedy. No, fat nerd sucks own dick at stand-up comedy. It's so... And the comments are the best because so many people are waiting for when do you get fucked? When does the fucking happen? What is going on with this video? Oh, it's very good. Chris, It's very sunny for a place that seems like it's raining.
You know what's killing me is it's raining so fucking hard right there, and the sun is just over there, like it's right there. It's taunting me. This is bullshit.
How excited are you for you to end up having to go all the way to the Cloak and Dagger for a show that will be shut down?
I'm upset that this is what you think my porn would be.
When naked dudes wash each other,
you want dudes wash each other.
I mean, yeah, I could. Yeah, ooh, his name's Malcolm. His name's also Malcolm, and they're gonna suds each other's butts. What are the highlights of the Fringe we need to tell Chris about? What Ashley, you were
like I forget the whole month.
Chris, this is what I did
suddenly.
every day.
It was a while ago.
I assume you were not shocked, as I would do my. I have never, by the way, had a worse gut in my life. I had a big wet shit every day for 2 months, like an absolute piss butt, and couldn't keep anything down. I'd have like a muffin, and then it was just an absolute travesty. And then I would eat
Your
something,
poor digestive system.
something at like 2 a.m. after just trying to drink like water and coffee. Oh, it's wild. What's going on, Chris?
Did you guys hear that thunder? That shit ripped.
Thunder, lightning, pouring rain.
Yeah, I will say
Hangover
I hung out
coffee.
with Dave or Alfie and Garrett.
Yeah, you hung out. You got to hang out.
Oh, that's a
lot.
good crew. That's a good crew.
It
Yeah,
was a nice crew.
I smoked a bunch of weed and got really into the Grateful Dead. Chris,
Yes, I remember you sending me the playlists.
you got to listen to that. That playlist is real good. Yeah, it was a real fun time. For those of you who do smoke weed, can I please piss bets and piss butt, the Canadian duo? That's right. Don't mess with us. Chris drives the car, and I make sure nobody passes us.
Piss, 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 piss.
That's the sound of me pissing, having a butt piss.
I knew that's exactly what that was.
I had a question, and piss butt just knocked it right out of my head. Just gone.
It'll come back.
Absolutely.
For those of you looking to smoke weed in Ember, here are the following places I would highly recommend. One, ironically, behind the courthouse where Chris Betts got married. Walked up there to see what it was like, by the way, to curse at it now that you're divorced, Chris. I said to it.
Indeed.
That's right.
It did rain on my wedding day. I want everyone to know. It did rain.
It?
Yeah. When we were leaving the courthouse, it was raining. When we were waiting for the taxis.
And by the way, this is a great Paul Byrne memory, which was I was very sad. My girlfriend had just left, and I had just punched her in the face and jizzed, as we all remember that story.
Yeah.
The classic. And
welcome new listeners, by the way. Welcome to the stream.
Welcome new listeners. Would you like context?
John once punched somebody in the face when he jizzed on her.
Not providing the context.
John was a spousal abuser. It was just related.
Not abuse. It was not abuse. It was just it wasn't even a sex game.
Accident.
Yeah, it was a very happy accident. Oh, discovery. It was like that guy when that guy accidentally licked his finger and discovered LSD the first time. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was.
Oh,
yeah. Which, by the way, I do not believe that story. That is the most made up by the CIA
kind of story
story
that you make up when you're on LSD.
That is exactly correct.
Yes. Have you did you just listen to the How Stuff Works about LSD?
No, I'm just I'm reading a
podcast just came out about it, and I've got it in my downloads, and they're going to talk us all through it. Ashley's about to sneeze so hard her face is going to come off.
You're going to sneeze.
She's going to sneeze.
Watch your sneeze. Watch your sneeze. Watch your sneeze. Watch your sneeze. Make her big, John. Make her big. Make her big.
You killed it by talking about it.
Oh, right.
You killed my sneeze.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Oh, I know it.
Can we not do this?
Sneezes like Goonies never die, Ashley.
This is funny. You not wanting to be big on screen is really throwing me back to your early days on the stream.
I know.
That's a nice.
Well, I have beard burn, and I'm very conscious about it.
Hey, all right.
Yeah. Chris, where have you been?
Scritch. This kind of beard doesn't give you burn. This shit is soft and juicy.
I assume you oil that beard.
Nah. The whole point of having a beard is you don't have to do anything to it.
No.
I don't understand these guys that are putting effort in.
I mean, Will Duggan. Have you sneezed yet, Ashley? Or is it passed?
No.
Okay.
It's just died.
I discovered this, by the way. I can't remember the name of the cafe, but there's a coffee shop across from the EICC in Edinburgh that during the Fringe did the smartest thing ever, which just went Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're open from 9 a.m. until 2 a.m. and we have hamburgers and cookies and lemonade. Do you want that? You want a cheeseburger, a cookie, and a lemonade?
Perfect.
For like
£8? That's really expensive. And yes, I do. Give it to me right the fuck now. And then I'd eat that, and then I'd have bum piss again.
Talk to me about the tattoo. Talk to me about the tattoo appointment. Talk to me about how it finally, when you saw him, when you met up with him on the day, what was his face like? How hungover was he?
He wasn't hungover. He was very well behaved during the whole festival. He was almost as difficult to hang out with as John was.
I mean, I still maintain, and I felt so seen by Chris, because when I said to you, I will not be around, I knew you didn't hear me. And then in the middle where you were like,
no, I knew
this
you
guy is just not around.
You wouldn't be out, was my understanding of that you wouldn't be on the piss looking
absent.
But you were just not there.
He just went out for cigarettes and never came home.
Yeah. He went out for comedy and never came back. Is basically what happens at the end. I'm around towards the end.
You were.
We
got lunch. We had a lovely lunch.
Oh, we did have a lovely lunch. That place was great, by the way.
El Cartel in Edinburgh. It's great.
I'm going to say this before. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Those are not technically speaking tacos, but well done, Scotland, for
they're
whatever
still tasty, though.
They're still delicious. I completely agree.
So good.
A weird combination of they don't know which things should be in the soft or in the hard, but it's just great. You finally figured out. Yeah, they deep fry things in Mexico too, and the Scots, they're on board.
Talk to me through the start of the tattoo when you met up with him going into the shop.
Yeah,
we did this,
I got there before.
We did an episode with Will.
We did this last week with Will, and not last week, 2 weeks ago. Last week it was just me and David Horan. We had a lovely time. But yeah, we watched it 2 weeks ago when Chris couldn't make it, but you hadn't seen it. You weren't there either, John. So it was great. And yeah, I got there before him, and I was, after getting up so early to get there, I was so tired, I was so grumpy, and I was really starting to feel like he wasn't going to show up. But he did, and he was fully committed. He had organized everything with the tattoo salon place. They knew what they were doing, and they had a wee sketch thing drawn up for him. And
I have a question about how do you pick it? This is a general tattoo question. How do you pick your tattooist? Do you meet various different ones, or do they just give you one?
People have different approaches to
it. Chris looks like he's about to tattoo some Russians that were just captured behind enemy lines in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized how dark it is because it's all cloudy and shit. So
yeah, the lighting has drastically changed over there.
Very much so.
Chris, quick question. I'm assuming that you'll be able to make it to the end of the show, as I assume Hangover Comedy's last show will be moved till next week.
Nope. There's no way that we're doing it in October. So I'm going to have to go because I have to at least be there, and we might try to move it inside. We'll see what happens. And also, no joke, it's sunny right over there. Toronto's been like tropical rainstorm this year where like it rains like a motherfucker for 2 hours and then is all of a sudden very sunny. So, and we canceled 2 shows because of the possibility of rain. We're not doing it again. We got to go. So I'll be there. I'm going to be there, and I'll just get drunk with people if I have to.
When do you have to leave?
In probably about like 25 minutes. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh shit. Go ahead.
That was a horrible sound.
I know. Oh shit. My new character, just guy from the 80s hearing about a Twitch stream. Bullshit. People watch video games on the fucking computer. That's for typing.
Where was I?
Tattoo.
They had you showed up. They had the
how
drawing.
Do you pick a tattoo?
Ready.
How do you pick a tattoo artist?
How do you pick a tattoo artist? I basically, for my first one, and which will be my approach for the next one, is just to find an artist online that I really like and get in touch with them and make an appointment. But when I got my tattoo, I got my tattoo with a friend, and she basically trusted me to just take care of it, and I was like, I could not do that. I could not entrust my tattoo into somebody else's hands. So I booked my tattoo artist and then said to the parlor, my friend wants to get a tattoo as well. Would there be somebody available on the same day at the same time? And they had a guest tattoo artist, so somebody that wasn't even a regular there was coming in to do her tattoo, and she was getting like a whole rib cage piece done. And she just went for it. She didn't see a design beforehand. He free-handed it. So I was just like, you have got a lot of faith in the universe. Now,
I'm gonna say
tattoo
this right now.
is
Really
amazing.
feels like Chris was not into this story when he just ducked
Left
under
the screen.
that. I've never
Yeah.
seen a yeah, no, I'm interested. Yeah, that's really yeah, good to hear. Good to hear.
No, that's great.
That's exactly what was happening. I was ignoring it.
I could not ignore it.
That's
It was the most weird. I assume he's setting up a light, but I've never seen someone being like, "That's a really good, good
yeah.
story." Just nice
I just had to assume he was still
I'm just-
listening for my
I'm
own,
trying to plug in my
anxiety.
computer because it's about to die, and my plugs are being real dickbags lately and not registering. So I'm adjusting right now. I apologize, but your friend has too much faith.
Too
and
much
needs
faith
to do
in the
more
universe.
research.
Chris, yeah, good to hear. Yep.
However, has an amazing elephant all tattooed down her chest.
Oh shit!
So
It's always the worst when those people they land the
when
boat.
it just lands, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but the problem with those people is they never tell you about the 8 other times where they really fucked it.
Oh,
She
because they
certainly
stuck
got
the
her shit
landing.
together.
Yeah, but
They
they only
never
stick with you.
totally
You're
fuck it.
exactly one of the people I'm fucking talking about, and guess what you're getting as a result? See you in hell. Oh, it didn't even work that time. There we
You're
go.
trying to get rid. Oh.
Yeah, see, you know, I feel great.
I thought you were going to get rid of me, and I was like, I don't have my shit
No,
together.
you don't have anything to do with it. No, but,
I am a
what
hot
does-
mess
oh,
of a
speaking
human being.
sharp objects. What does Ashley have tattooed on herself?
I have a
Was it the
sword
logo for her
here.
favorite heavy metal band on her tummy? You do have a sword there. Would you get a heavy metal band's logo tattooed on you?
No,
Not even Metallica?
definitely not Metallica.
What about the
How many
Godsmack sun around your belly button?
Around your belly button. Why wouldn't you get the Godsmack? I'll tell you, comedian Dove Davidoff has that tattoo on him. And let me tell you how quickly you lose respect
You know
for
what?
anyone, which is when you see a bit of their belly.
I
Thin
could,
Lizzy.
I could end up with Thin Lizzy tattooed on me. Dancing in the Moonlight is one of my favorite songs ever. I know it's not
What
the
a
original song,
wild
but
Thin Lizzy pull. The Dancing in the Moonlight is the one you go with?
I know it's not even their song.
What about Jailbreak? The Boys are back in town.
The Boys
Whiskey
Are Back
in the
Town,
Jar?
like there's a lot of good ones there, but Dancing in the Moonlight is one of my favorite songs.
I mean, it's so, like, God, I love the Beatles. You know what I mean? Yellow
Yeah.
Submarine. What a track.
Oh, it is their song.
Yeah.
My bad.
I just don't think.
I thought it was a cover.
I thought it was a cover too. I feel like.
I don't know why I thought it
Does
was a
Van
cover.
Morrison do a version? No, that's Moon
Somebody
Dance.
covers
Someone
it.
does
then.
a cover though. I'm not.
Oh
fucking
yeah, there's a
No, somebody
really
does.
famous cover of it. Who was it? Who did the
Well,
big one a few
There
years
is
ago?
there is another song called Dancing in the Moonlight by
Oh,
Top
go
Loader.
Top
but
Loader.
It's,
that's not the
but
same song?
No, it's not the same song.
Okay, I don't want to.
Good. I'm actually kind of glad to hear that. That you were making me think less of Thin Lizzy for a second.
Okay,
And I
actually,
love
can you
Thin Lizzy.
sing? Can
Two
you
different
sing?
songs.
David, actually, David Hoare, can you come on and give us? Because I don't want to get this episode struck because of a copyright. Can someone sing us the two different Moonlight songs? How many goddamn? Oh my god! Yes, David.
Yes, David.
David, can you come on and
I'll
give us?
drop in the link.
Thank you so much. I mean, there is a time in my life I would have totally gotten a Kiss tattoo. I totally would have, but they are still on, and I've been meaning to actually talk about this because it's definitely content for this year program. So Kiss Ashley is on a years long, like last show ever tour.
How many times though? They were doing that with Psycho Circus came out.
They did it before Psycho Circus because I was 14 when I went to the Kiss farewell tour in 1999. Yeah,
these fucking guys.
As it turns out, that was just the farewell with the original lineup. So like they just can't sing anymore because they're just very severely old men because they started this in like 2018 and it's now 2022 and they're both like 76. So it's just you've just like never seen more just like, hey, we're in Boston. Do you guys like alcohol or whatever? I'm so tired. Like, oh, but like the end coming to rock and roll of that era, the ending of those like baby boomer rockers is so fascinating because it's all the entitlement of the baby boomer generation with all of the lack of self-awareness of the millennial. Like Paul Stanley, what are you wearing, sir? Sir,
Crazy.
I can see your nipple. Your nipples are twice as old as the Simpsons.
Your nipples are twice. I like that we're now just quantifying people's age or like how long things have existed by gauging them against The Simpsons.
Yeah, it's like how big is something? It's the size of X football fields.
Exactly.
How old is someone? They're 1.5 Simpsons.
One and a half Simpsons.
Ashley is 3/4 Simpsons. Rob Halford, it does still sound great. I don't think he's a baby boomer because he's a demon. That's right. Demon. For those who don't know who Rob Halford is, leader, singer of Judas Priest. And he's just a great guy. Really good singer. Go ahead, Ashley.
Was I going to say something? Maybe I was. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get corn tattooed.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Okay,
David
so
Hoare. Okay, David
Hoare
Hoare.
is here. Why'd you get rid of Chris?
I don't know what.
When I passed you in the doorway, oh well, you took me with a glance.
Okay, so which one is this one?
It's played up with my band. Hi everybody. Hi Chris Betts. I haven't talked to you in forever. Hi
Hello.
Buddy. Good to see you.
Man. Why doesn't the private chat save? I wish I haven't got the rest of it.
You were right though, I think, on the ones that you were guessing. So
No, they can go back and look at that then. And so now that they know. Now listen, David.
No, you didn't say anything, I don't think.
Which Moonlight?
So me and my friend Chester were going to start a band called the Moonlight Dancers, where we basically only played songs called "Dancing in the Moonlight." So we'd
there's only
come
two.
out and be like, "Hi, we're the Moonlight Dancers. This song's called "Dancing in the Moonlight." Play Thin Lizzy. Come out and then be like, "This next song is called "Dancing in the Moonlight," and then we were like, "Thank you very much. That's our time." We actually found out there was another third song written by Men Without Hats who did the Safety Dance.
Okay. Can you give us the top loader one and that one now?
The third one I couldn't tell you.
Okay, but you can give us the top loader one.
And apparently every DJ I know says that is the sound of white people running to a dance floor.
Wow.
You play that at any wedding and white people go,
Yeah, people go a bit nuts for it. I think that happens for both of them though.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, as this white person, I had no if I just I think I thought the top load. I knew that Thin Lizzy had a song called "Dancing in the Moonlight," and I think I thought the top loader
was a cover.
No, so top loader one is a cover, but in googling this, I've just found out that Top Loader's own greatest hits is called "Dancing in the Moonlight," the best of Top Loader, which means their greatest hits is named after a cover, which can't feel great.
That's so funny.
Oh my god, how bad at your fucking job are you?
I will say,
maybe it was a joke.
and I'm sure you'll vehemently disagree. Achilles' Heel is not a bad song. Their other song that they wrote themselves.
I think for you to think that we have strong opinions on any top loader song.
I want you to know this right now, David.
Is
I
wild.
know I am a music
Absolutely
dork.
insane.
I have never heard Achilles' Heel by Top Loader. I'll put it on right now. And I want you to
really
know
nice keyboard
you
thing going on.
Are a dork. You are a music dork.
Me?
Oh my god, I gotta tell you.
Wait,
I have to say, watching David Hoare and Garrett Millerick talk about music was quite funny. It didn't happen too many times.
Sharp
but
Object. Can I
it's
just
quite
say
cute.
this? Everyone's anger at the whole Radiohead not playing Creep thing. I do love how just no one can let it go, no matter on what side you're on. Even though it's very clear that even Radiohead's like, listen, we'll play it sometimes. I guess just Jesus fucking Christ. I just find it so fascinating.
They do play it. They played it when they played Leeds. They played it first, so that
Exactly.
everyone that wanted to hear it would fuck off.
Exactly. They also, when they played Glastonbury, they didn't they put in a press release? They're like, yeah, we're gonna play it. Shut the fuck up. Fuck you. I fucking hate you guys. You pieces of shit.
Because I am a music dork, but also that song was just massive in the UK in 2001 or whenever that came out.
It was like 1997.
Everywhere. No, 2001. I was definitely second. No.
No, Achilles' Heel.
Achilles' Heel
thank
by
God.
Top Loader.
Because I thought you were saying
Creep was
Creep.
94.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way Creep wasn't in the
I know
90s.
that because I'm a music man.
Yeah,
Tusk by Fleetwood Mac.
Tusk.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about now. David, tell us about Tusk by Fleetwood
David.
Mac.
Okay, so there's a college band, and they got to do the horn section.
Go fuck yourself, David Hoare. This song is terrible. I'm listening to Achilles' Heel by Top Loader.
Oh yeah,
I thought you might say that.
Oh, there is a certain type of British pop song. This is their answer to everything. Let's get a soft piano and then a lilting.
It's definitely like
shut the fuck.
it's definitely the sort of sound of music that Elbow went, well, what if all music could sound like
That's
this?
exactly your goddamn yeah. it's like, what if
I went to see Elbow live,
fuck? I gotta tell you too.
and I have to say it was a really good concert.
Of course it was. They've got a bunch of music that's designed for like white people to stand in audiences and go, oh, yeah. It's basically they've written Wonderwall 27 times.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I don't know why other bands didn't try to do that. That's it's right there. It's so obvious.
It's right there.
Have you ever listened to Guy Garvey on anything? There's my favorite Facebook group is called "Will Somebody Please Acknowledge That Guy Garvey is an Elbow?" Because if you listen to Guy Garvey in any interview, he goes like, "Oh, because that's familiar with me with my band Elbow," and he'll just say it in everything. I was watching a Kate Bush documentary the other day.
That's
and
quite funny.
Like, you know, it's different because it's not like what we're inspired by in my band Elbow. He just says it all the time.
I'm going to say this about the band Elbow. So I did an Edinburgh show that three of the four people here on screen have seen. Chris refused to attend. And that show was worked on by Paul Byrne, who has unfortunately passed. And one of the last things Paul Byrne said to me is, you should end the show with Elbow's grounds for divorce. A, because you got divorced, and B, you have a fucked up elbow. And I said, I don't like that idea. And let me tell you how good at Paul Byrne is at arguing. He then died. Proving that he went to, and you know how difficult, and for months I quietly went back and forth on,
should I end the show?
Should I end the show with, and I finally did. I do not like that song. Well, that's not true. I like the song, the part of the song after, but the beginning of that song is their best song, but it has something that is such a pet peeve of me in all songs, which is like weird beginning-y noises. Like, you know what I mean? Like Grounds for Divorce starts before it gets to like that big thick like no, it just like there's a bunch of like clitter clatter machine jangling.
You can cut the track.
I know, but it's there by implication. You know what I mean?
Beat and them going,
yeah, just fuck off. And it's just not. Yeah,
it's my best Elbow impression.
I gotta tell you, that is a
it was bang on.
Of that.
Thank you.
Start the show. Oh yes, no, pardon me. Yes, no, it was. That's what it was. It was start the show, which I was also like, no,
start the show. Hit the theme song. Start the show.
Yeah.
Do you mention your elbow in the show?
No, but
You
I had
used
like.
to.
I did at one point, and also I had like bits about this elbow. Like he was like, if you have a fucked up elbow, that's why it's like, it was like one of those things where it was like very much a thing that he was just, that's fun. But then he died.
Logic dictates that you should play seldom seen.
What did you play the
elbow? But you just
I instead started it off with Back at the Farm by White Denim. Which, ironically, by the way, a band Paul turned me on to, and then ended it with Open Mike Eagles, the legendary Ironhead.
Nice.
Which was and that was very much a song that summed up Paul and da-da-da-da-da. So there was reasons behind, but now I'm thinking about it, I probably should have just played Elbow the entire length of it.
You would have hated it for the whole month, though.
I would have hated it every second, and I would have stood in front of the audience and gone, before we start, you got to listen to the words, and just show them my elbow.
Well, that's like remember when Glenn Wool did Viva Forever?
Oh my God. The best starting of a show ever.
Holy shit. So when you walked into the venue, Viva Forever by the Spice Girls was playing, and you went, okay, weird. And then it played again. And then it played again and again and again until the fucking show started. It was just Viva Forever the whole time. And then he does the show, and it's amazing. And right at the end of the show, he reveals that it's like the story about like his wife's best friend got this like insane infection and like died from it. And Viva Forever was the song that they sang together when they were teenagers. It was her favorite song, and the show was like dedicated to her. And then the way that he went, you go from being like, if I ever hear Viva Forever again in my fucking life, I'm going to murder Glenn Wool, to he gives that reveal, and everyone's just crying at the idea of Viva Forever. Like, it's so fucking beautiful.
You're missing the even better payoff, like the beginning lighting of the fuse of that line, which was Glenn Wool coming on in that really weird way that he always talks about. I am the Iron Cowboy of comedy. Are you ready to? And it just goes, or do you want to hear Viva Forever one more time? I also will have you know, I did a version of that bit when I put on a sketch play in university called Sex, A.K.A. Wieners and Boobs, written by Michael Wynn. of the
Wow,
sketch troupe Stella.
That sounds
And we started
terrible.
off.
Well, Stella's
it's-
incredible, though.
It's an incredibly
Yeah.
funny play. It's so good. Glenn Ross is just in the middle of the play. The show starts with the cast Q&A. It's so funny. Like it's a perfect send up of student theater. So the fact that we were doing it like at a university theater program was like 10 times funnier. And we started off by just playing Two Becomes One by the Spice Girls over and over again. And we did 3 nights run, and every night someone got up and went to the sound booth and complained to be like, there's something wrong with this is like how long ago it was. The CD seems to be skipping, and they're just playing Two Becomes One again, not realizing, that was the point. We're just making a joke about sex, you losers.
I allotted 6 minutes of time. There's a 6 minutes lot of time to get everybody into my room, basically. And so it was basically like 6 minutes to, we'd start, I'd play Patricia Russian's Haven't You Heard, the full like mix of it. And every so often there would be some people lollygagging, and the sound person would always go, play it again. Back up, and you're like, oh, okay, fine. I should have really had a contingency plan there, but never mind.
I remember I was listening to Kick Push by Lupe Fiasco before my show, the first hour that I did. And I'd started setting up a playlist, but then a bunch of stuff happened, and I just didn't have the mental space to do it. And so I ended up just playing the song Kick Push over and over again before the show. And I remember hearing one of my poor techs about 3 weeks in, he's like, I used to really like this song.
I was terrified I'd fall out of love with all those all the songs I chose, and I was luckily not to. I didn't.
I set up a playlist in Monkey Barrel before, or when I worked there, and because I was the only tech when I left, nobody changed the playlist for months.
Nice.
As in, I came back after lockdown, and that was what they were still playing.
Years. Came back after years.
They were still playing. Hang on,
It was
I can
playing
do this.
for nearly 2 years.
Well, they called like LBX1 or some shit.
But everyone was, every time I came into the venue, the staff who knew it was my playlist were just like, we need to change this. It was a good playlist when you worked here. We loved it once, and now I hate every single song on this playlist.
Dude, work songs are mental. Like I
Mhm.
worked in a phone shop, and if I hear certain songs just in the world now, I'm like, oh, that song gives me crippling
Flashback.
anxiety,
Yeah.
and potentially could induce like a panic attack. Like I know what the song "Push the Button" by the Sugar Bass smells like, because I used to work in a kids activity center, and that song smells like a kids activity center to me.
Yeah.
I have it a little bit with the music that was in Monkey Barrel when I started working there, before I learned how to do the soundtrack or the playlists myself.
Yeah. I mean, I used to hide my manager's CDs because she would just play the same 3 CDs over and over again in the restaurant I worked at. And so I just stole them one day. I just stole them. And I never admitted it. And I just kept them in my house for 6 months. And then when I quit,
Nice.
I just brought the CDs back. I was like, here you go. She's like, you took this? And I said, yeah. And you're welcome, everybody.
My favorite version of this was I worked at a Java U at on Queen Mary in Montreal one morning after weeks of me demanding, because they literally had a burnt CD with 7 songs on it. So it was about 24 minutes of music, and I would be there for 8 hours. Do you know how insane you are after you've heard the same 7 songs?
Oh, dude, have you worked in retail at Christmas? Have you worked in retail at Christmas?
No, I have not.
I have. I've worked the
I
Christmas
didn't know that
markets.
Queen did a Christmas song, and I was sick of it by the end of the day.
Oh my god! At the Christmas markets in Edinburgh,
song
we
Christmas track.
didn't have the licensing to play the proper versions of songs.
Oh,
So it was
meow, that's what I
all-
call music.
It was all like cover versions of classic Christmas songs, and it was
I
dog
prefer that.
shit.
I'm not lying.
Oh.
Slade and specifically Wizard genuinely give me panic attacks. Like they are triggers. If I hear
Yeah.
Wizard, I will have a panic attack. It's like, do you wish it could be
It's
Christmas
so
every day? Because I
intense.
fundamentally disagree with you. And if I hear him shout, "It's Christmas" when it's November again, I'm going to roundhouse somebody.
So when I worked in HMV, I don't know if you guys know this, but I worked in an HMV in Cork.
Was it
and,
Cork, Chris?
And while
I'm
I was
from
there,
there.
Wait,
thank fuck, I worked in the stock room, because if I worked on the floor, I would have murdered everybody. But because I was in the
Mhm.
stockroom, I just got to listen to my good music. And every now and then I'd step out onto the floor and you could just see it in their eyes when they were out there. Just
Yeah. If I'm at like a party that's like near Christmas with my friends, and they're like, we should listen to Christmas music,
No.
and then they put it on, and I'm like, can you not?
Mm.
And they're like, oh, do you not like this Christmas song? Which one do you prefer? And I was like, silence or something else.
put on James Brown's Christmas albums. He makes his own
I
songs.
listen to classical Christmas
Santa Claus
music.
comes straight to the ghetto.
Have you heard James?
go,
You've
go,
heard
go.
James Brown's Christmas song. The other two of you, have you heard James Brown's Christmas song?
No.
There's 3 lines in it.
I really want
It's,
to now.
Huh? Merry Christmas, I love you, and it's
I love James Brown.
Merry Christmas,
James Brown?
I love you.
Yeah, he has 3. I think he has 3 Christmas albums. 3 separate
Where did he
Christmas
fuck
albums.
around?
with James Brown. He rules.
Okay, so I'm working at this Java U. This story's not done. We finally get Sirius XM installed. And everyone's excited. Varieties of different music, different types, different genres. Oh, do you like reggae? We'll put on the reggae station. And then someone put on the 70s station that played Cat Stevens one time. And this person complained because Cat Stevens was now a Muslim person and supported terrorism. So we
Is he
couldn't
Hare
play.
Krishna?
Pardon me?
I thought he was a Hare Krishna.
No,
he's
he-
Yusuf Islam now, but
I
and
think
that
he-
always confused me.
I think he's Muslim. Anyway, super fucked up situation. So the next day, I'm told all this,
Okay,
but
Islam.
they're literally like, you got to put that CD back on. And I just refused and put the Sirius back on the thing. And it happened to be on the 70 station from the day before, played Cat Stevens again. And the same guy walked up to complain. And I don't know where this was in me, but I just went, no, what are you going to do? And he went, I will never forget this. He went, I know the owner of Java U. I'm going to tell him that you're insubordinate. And I went, do it right now. And then I banned him from ever appearing in that Java U again, which he held to because I'll never forget this. The next day, I saw him on the patio, and he had brought a friend to get his coffee. And then he came out. This all just came back to me. And I remember the friend, when he was getting the coffee, was like, is it true you banned my friend because he didn't want Cat Stevens played? And I was like, yeah, it's really fucking weird. Who cares? And he was like, I don't know, man. He just and he was like, yeah, this guy, he just he takes a stand and you won't leave him off of it. And I was just like, it's crazy. It's all I ever think of. Also, and here's the craziest thing. I still don't know what that song was. Like, I have no memory of what Cat Stevens sounds like.
Was it Father Son?
Hard-headed woman?
No idea.
It's
Father Son and the cats and the
Ride
cradle
on a
and the
peace
silver
train?
spoon. Is that the
You're
one?
thinking of Ugly Kid Joe. It's just got the word cat in it.
Which one is Father Son? Which one? Sing the song
That's
for me.
Cat Stevens. And also Boyzone.
What?
Boyzone covered.
What's that? Ireland's Bad Boys? The most dangerous men on the
I
Emerald
think
Isle?
you'll find, Chris, Island's Band Boys is very much Jedward now. Jedward.
They're not bad. They're great. Do
I
you know
love
about,
it.
I
do you know about
actually
the
did try to get
radicalization
them
of
on the
Jedward,
show.
Chris?
How did that go? Did that work out?
I didn't get a response.
Troggies.
Chris, have you seen
Tweet
this?
at Jedward. Go ahead, David.
Do not do that.
Chris, have you seen how radicalized Jedward have got?
Yeah, I love it. I
Yeah.
don't follow
Amazing.
them, but they pop up every now and then, and I'm like,
Radicalized.
And they still look like
David,
that?
don't be
That's
so English.
funny.
They're just speaking truth. Listen, the Irish are allowed to be
my
upset.
beloved king or queen or whatever we've got right now.
You have a
Yeah.
king. You
I've
have a
decided that
king.
my new fun way to wind up royals will be to ask them why Camilla can't be queen. Because nobody
why
cares
can't
about
Camilla
that.
be queen? By the way, like if
Just-
if
just
Andrew,
My favorite tweet
is that a
was Camilla in a heart-shaped box that says
She's
all the
impure,
side
John.
chicks
The same reason I couldn't
right now.
receive. It's the same reason I couldn't receive First Holy Communion.
what?
I
You're
was
divorced.
impure.
You
were divorced?
organized the killing of Princess Diana?
Yeah.
You heard it here
Exactly
first,
it.
Troggies. Ashley did it.
I gotta say, I wouldn't be surprised if someone from Cork was involved. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna kill a British royal, the Irish have like a secret deal where it's like one of us gets to be there. Like, just one Irish person just gets to be like,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Who said it?
Um,
She's from Cork. Oh, fine. Great.
Yeah.
Chris, my dear, do you have to go?
Yeah, soonish.
Chris, can
Oh,
I
okay.
shoot?
Ironically, I
I'm a
also have
music-
to pee. So, like, yes.
No. When you said I'm
Um,
a music nerd, I suddenly was like, I've got music nerd things to show you. Can I show you some
Let's
exciting
do your
things?
music nerd thing, and then Chris is
let
gonna
me.
go.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then I'll piss out.
They're both very quick.
Yeah.
This is Jethro Tull.
Oh, dope.
Stand Up. Why is it called Stand Up? Yeah.
Hey, love it.
That's really cool.
How
Isn't
much
that
cocaine
really
do you think
cool?
they were on?
No.
Where they were like, "We're gonna call it stand up, but we need a reason." And like they're like,
Yeah.
"Can we just
And
the
you know
album's
what?
a table."
This is really cool, and I think it's pathetic because I have a copy of Man. Be good to yourself every day.
No idea who this band is. No idea.
Right.
No idea.
You'll want to because inside their album is a full map of Wales. You'll notice it's them.
What a
pushing
reveal.
themselves
If you're
up
listening to
from
this, you're an
the
idiot. Watch
side-
the video.
Yeah, they're pushing themselves
Welcome,
off from the
podcast listeners.
side of the England and removing themselves from it.
Oh my god!
It's a
That's
very
so
accurate
funny.
map of Wales.
That's
It's
excellent.
Really good. So I always kind of remember about the Jethro Tull thing, but this is what I usually tell. And this is kind of bluesy, rocky prog stuff, which is actually fucking shit hot. You'd really like this, John.
I
You'd
think I
really
would
like
really
this.
like that. Can you send me?
I
me
will
that-
send you a link to it, yes. But every time
Um,
somebody comes around who looks at my vinyl collection, I'm like, oh, hi there. How's it going?
Can I just say this? I could have guessed for 100 years on what was
Yes.
going to pop out of the Man
I couldn't
vinyl.
have. I couldn't
Dude,
have guessed
also,
that.
I'm so happy I delayed Chris's piss so he
Yeah.
could see the full map of Wales for no reason.
What an
Chris, when you go
incredible
for a piss,
reveal.
can you see if a full map of Wales comes out at the end of your cup?
Chris, you have an album coming out eventually on 800 Pound Gorilla, and in it, when it's on vinyl, will it just be a full map of White Rock, British Columbia?
Canada, would you
I
pushing
do
yourself
feel
away
like
from the US?
They've stepped up the game. Now I have to do something in there.
You have to
That's
do something in your record now.
Yeah.
absolutely phenomenal stuff. Thank you, David, for showing me that.
Oh, no worries.
I'm gonna be Trish. Great to see you. I didn't see you in the
Trish.
chat. What's going on, Trish?
Trish. You've also got
Yeah, I'm gonna head out. It was great to see you guys. I should be back to normal, being here for all the streams from next week. So,
Mate, it's
I
so
love
good
you.
to actually chat to you where I can hear you and everything. It's so nice. It's really
Yeah, it's been
You
so
look
long.
really
We've
good.
missed you, Chris. We will see you next week.
Love you guys.
Bye,
Have a
Chris.
wonderful rest of the show.
Love
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, Trish. Good night, everyone who's left the stream. Thank you so much for joining us. David, do you
Yes,
want to
thank
stick
you for
around for the
joining
next
us.
24 minutes, or do you need to go?
Yeah, fine. I can do that if you want. I was playing Rocket League and listening to you guys, and then you were like, "We need somebody to sing Dancing in the Moonlight," and I was like, "I can do that."
I want to say this about Rocket League. My God, did that have a moment there? Do you know what I'm saying? Like Rocket League felt like it was going to be bigger than Call of Duty, and now it's just kind of one of
Well,
the
the
ones
thing
you
is,
play.
it would have petered out into non-existence, but they made it free, and so like I was telling people to play it for 5 years, and I've got like 300 hours of it clocked on my computer, and I remember the same people I've been telling they would love it. One of them went, "Have you ever played this game Rocket League in lockdown?" And I was like, "Oh, the game I've been trying to get you to play for 5 years." He went, "Yeah," and the guy went, "Oh, I should try that." And then he tried it and he went, "Oh, can we play this every day?" And I was like, "I've been playing it for 5 years."
Can I say this also? And I haven't played Rocket League, but I will play it. I started playing Super Mario Brothers 4 on my Nintendo Switch because I didn't realize they brought out those like the old SNES games.
Yeah.
That might be the most difficult video game I've ever played in my entire. Like it is so unreasonably hard so
Well,
quickly.
Super
Like, you
Mario
were-
World.
Yeah, is that the
Yeah,
one where like
great.
Yoshi is first
Yeah, yeah,
introduced
yeah.
and all of the levels have a secret other ending you have to figure
Yes.
out?
Yeah. But
Oh
it was
my
supposed to last for like between your Christmas and your birthday was when you got given one game. It's very hard.
Wait a minute. So the idea was they wanted it. What if your birthday was in January?
Well, as in, I'm just saying, like when you were younger, you would get given one game for Christmas and one game for your birthday, and so you'd get a cartridge, and that would last for a long time. Which is why old games are hard as nails because they have to last you a while.
Oh, here's the weird thing: is like I grew up in the time of the. Did you guys not have video game and video rental stores?
Yeah,
Well,
but
I
not
didn't-
really.
See, that's the thing,
My
it was like-
parents never agreed with video games as a thing that should exist, really. So I didn't really get a games console until the PlayStation 2, and my parents gave it to me and then regretted it for a long time.
How old were you when the PlayStation 2, guys? Let's really use Twitch for what it's for. Ashley, did you ever play on a PlayStation 2? Maybe the best
PlayStation 2 was my golden years.
Come on.
Great. Okay.
Like,
All I owned was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Colin McRae Rally Racing, and I didn't like Colin McRae Rally Racing, so I just basically played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 for 8 months. And
So-
somebody would come round and try and play me against it, and they'd be like, "Oh, I'll give us a go," and I'd destroy them at it, and they'd be like,
Wow.
"This isn't fun."
we had a PlayStation 1 like from when I was a baby. My
Mm.
mother got it for my dad for one of, I think it was like his birthday the year I was born or something. But they started playing it, and my mother said that she never played it again after she was playing it one time, and I, as like an 18-month-old child, waddled up to her to get some attention, and she pushed me away. And she was like, "Right, I'm never playing this again."
Yeah, amazing. That's so great.
She just like
could have been
frightened the shit out of
MLG.
herself that her attention span could be so absorbed.
She could have gone pro as well, I reckon.
Yeah, that level of
You
determination.
robbed her of being a pro Twitch streamer.
Yeah. So we had Gran Turismo on that, so that was probably the first game I ever played. And there must have been a few other games, but then PS2 was like highlight. That was amazing. We had like one of my favorite games of all time was 007 Nightfire.
Very
What is 007 Nightfire? I've never heard of this.
The James Bond game?
What are you talking? The James
So
Bond
they
game is
basically-
GoldenEye. You absolute.
No,
On the
Nightfire.
PlayStation, Pierce Brosnan did as many films as he did. He did just one-off games where he did all the voice acting and like mocap and stuff on the PlayStation. So there's like Agent Under Fire, Nightfire. There's a bunch of them where
I had
it's
no
Pierce
idea.
Brosnan as James Bond.
Nightfire was the best one though.
GoldenEye, because GoldenEye for the N64, I got violently good at in university to the point that I was not allowed to play it when I was at Will Duggan's house in Manchester.
Yeah.
And I literally just every flatmate, like literally, I was like, "You get the golden gun, I'll take care of it." And like they would get it, and I would just be, because I just the complex. I could literally, you could drop me in that. If you built that building in real life, I think I could absolutely I could murder an army in there. I know like every if I could actually use jumping and hiding. Oh, you're screwed.
I think
Do you remember the
GoldenEye was very similar to Nightfire.
Yeah.
Functionally, it was the same
all of
game.
those games were riding on the coattails of it because it was it was GoldenEye N64 and then Tomorrow Never Dies on the PlayStation, and those two did very well. And then There Was Enough was fine, and then they were just knocking out games for the films as well,
Yeah.
and then extra ones, which was great.
But yeah, I could probably do the exact same thing that you're saying, John, if you drop me into the zones, the
Combat
maps on Nightfire.
Here's my question: Is there
The
must
grapple hook?
Yes.
Is
I
there a
said, like, Time
PS2
Splitters in the chat
emulator?
there, Boomstickery. Time Splitters 2 and Time Splitters 3. Mwah, perfect games. Love them. Carry on, John.
I had a C64. Does that count as a what the fuck is a C64?
Commodore 64.
Oh, the Commodore 64, the classic.
Remember the 80s?
I was 4, but yes, I do. I was aware
You
of
said
a
that you did
Commodore.
this like you did loads of cocaine in the 80s.
Yeah, bro.
I
remember the 80s?
and doing coke. You ever do three and
my
five,
folks
man?
have left the house back in
Yeah.
Ireland. They're gone. But when I was back there, I managed to find the PlayStation 2 disc of the Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers game.
Do you mean
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Is he gonna pull it out? There's nothing
He's
better
gonna
than
pull
a
it out. He's totally gonna pull it out.
We're talking about his dick. He's about to pull out his dick.
Definitely.
do you mean this game? I got for 50p and CEX. I
Nice.
completed in an evening.
I do mean that game. It was
Here's my PlayStation 2
such a
collection.
good game.
Oh,
It
what are
was
the
such a
PS2
good game.
games do you have? I feel like we're about to have a sleepover at a new friend's house. What games can we play tonight? Tell your mom to make pancakes.
I think we had Pro Skater 3
Metal
as
Gear
well.
Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3.
Oh, the PS2 Metal Gear Solids were apps because that's when it got real nuts. That's when you're getting into the whole time. Oh, is that which
What is that?
Is that Crash Bandicoot?
Wipeout Fusion. Oh, I've got Bandicoot. I've got Shadow of the Colossus on PS2.
No idea what that is. What is
No
Shadow of
idea.
the Colossus?
It's a very arty game. It's it was like one of the first games that made people go like, "Oh, video games could be art." So it's wonderful. Resident Evil 4, which I completed at the beginning of last year, and is incredible.
Let me ask you this: where do you follow? Any new reports on a new BioShock game? I want there to be a new BioShock game so I can.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah,
so
I've
if
played
you
all
haven't
of them.
played the-
I played all of them in lockdown. I absolutely mullered. So in lockdown, here are the games that I took down. First, in order: Grand Theft Auto Vice City, not Vice City. 1,000 apologies. Grand Theft Auto 5. Bought an Xbox, played that game just a week. I literally beat that game in a week like an absolute psychopath.
I think that was when I started rating you.
No, that was when I was playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Because I played that game on stream. I've never felt more accomplished than beating that game for like 5 people on Twitch. I felt like a golden god.
It's good when you complete a game. I completed Cuphead to like 11 people, and I went mental.
Oh my god, I felt huge after spending weeks.
I beat Spyro.
Oh.
I finished Spyro on stream. I played it from start to finish on stream, and it was the last one was so difficult. And then at the time, I had this redemption thing where you could make me take off my glasses to play the next round, and I couldn't see anything. And that was the one that I won.
Oh, amazing! That's so
I couldn't
good.
see it, and I won.
Like a blind gunfighter. You just knew.
John, have you played Portal, John?
I have not played Portal.
Portal. I've watched a lot of people play
Let me
Portal.
tell you right now about me in puzzle games. Much like RPGs, I want to love them. I cannot.
Puzzle games are where I excel. I can.
Yeah,
this is why I really enjoy Legend of Zelda.
I need a button mash situation.
Okay. I can give you lots of, if you want something similar to Marsha, I can give you lots of recommendations. Ashley, my recommendation is play Portal today.
I have been recommended Portal quite a few times.
Which one's the one that has Stephen Merchant, who's like the fun robot? Is
Portal.
That's Portal 2.
Oh, Portal 2.
That's my Half-Life, and that's my orange box with Portal when it came out. I'm a really cool guy, guys.
You have so much stuff. It must be horrible for you to move.
I think
we haven't moved in a while, and also I've moved this vinyl into here. Like since I've moved in here, my father has died and left me all of his vinyl. So I only took, thank you, and I only took 2/3. I only took a third of it. So that's like a, if you can see, that's like a third.
Oh, yeah. I will say this: going to David Hoare's house is a little bit like. Can I move it? Like I wanted to call my girlfriend and be like, can I move in with David? Like he just played the fun toys. Like it's just also that thing.
So much Lego.
John did a Zoom gig in my where I stream from, and whilst he was just doing the Zoom gig, whilst he's performing, he just looked to his side, and I could hear him from the other room just suddenly go, "Well, there's a lot of Lego in here. I could just play with Lego all day." And just started like playing with Lego instead of doing a set.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Also, yeah. Oh my god, the best company ever. That Zoom gig was amazing, and that they were just. I was just.
Sorry, Zoom gigs still happen?
Yeah, there's a lot of Zoom corporate gigs. If you're in, because Silicon Valley, especially, a couple of industries like full on went. We're going
just all viral or all remote.
So
yeah, it's all corporate, and it's all. Sorry, John.
It's usually a tech-centric company, and this was in and around San Francisco, because San Francisco is so expensive. There's a huge artist community there that quietly has now parasitically figured out, if we just cater to Silicon Valley in terms of providing entertainment to them, they do not know what things cost. The amount of money some people made out of Zoom corporate gigs for like just Google and shit like that. Those days, by the way, are evidently done. I don't know if you've seen the basically like every tech stock is.
Oh no! Well, I am kind of relying on the fact that in December I will get a phone call from the same like 4 people who are like, "Oh, I need you to check my Zoom gig again because you did it for the past 2 years and the same company want it again." And it will be like a company that, like a sales company or somebody that, like, their head office is in the UK, but they're spread out everywhere, basically. And so there'll be people in different time zones doing they'll do like a quiz and then have some stand up or what have you.
Because there's got to still be people that have like pretty deep pre-existing conditions that are still very much having to adhere to COVID. Like people forget this, but it's like, the Christmas where everyone got COVID and we thought lockdowns were going to continue was last Christmas. Like,
yeah, it's not that long.
Nothing happened in January this year. Nothing happened in January this year.
That's not true, Dave. There was a lockdown, David.
Omicron. Omicron. That's what I'm trying to say. Is
I
it
know.
like
It like David, like I remember going like flying to the
Didn't you
mountain.
have COVID in January this year?
Certainly
John?
did. I got it over Christmas. I literally got it landing. I think I got it in Heathrow, escaping the UK. Oh, I'll never be more like I have never been more happy to
This
have
year
COVID.
has been wild.
No fucking shit, bro. Like no shit. Like fucking insane. Like I keep having to remind myself that I was in Hawaii last week. Like even this week feels like it was so much.
I keep on having flashbacks to my own memory that I keep on telling this to people, and nobody has acknowledged it. And I say it to them, and they go, "Huh?"
Let's see if we'll acknowledge it.
We are living in a post-Trump Boris world.
Yeah. Also, are you ready for this? Not only that,
We survived that. We survived
I wouldn't
it.
say we survived it, but we got through.
We're alive, John.
We are alive. That's true.
I know you don't want that, but we're alive.
Not only that, technically a post-Brexit world. Brexit is over. Britain has
Brexit has happened.
Yeah, Brexit is.
We're living in a post-Queen world.
Oh, isn't that awesome? And not even. And
Still listen to the greatest hits whenever.
Yeah, that was the joke I was trying to figure out in that second. I was. I was gonna say, but I'll still crack. Go on, hit it.
Anyway,
which Queen song is your favorite Queen song? There is no best Queen song because they're all the best. But what's your favorite Queen song?
It might be Somebody to Love.
Interesting.
Somebody to Love is a great song. I love the Jedward version of Under Pressure.
I like your honesty. I like your honesty a lot.
Is ourselves taking down the monarchy. Ding, 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 ding.
Do you know who owns Under Pressure?
I think, yeah. Is it MC Hammer?
It's Vanilla Ice. So they sued him over using that
Vanilla Ice.
bass line in Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah.
And Vanilla Ice was like, well, how much is it to buy the song? And they were like, it's $250,000. It's not like you have that money. And he was like, I like the number one song in the world. I absolutely have that money. So in the middle of the lawsuit, he
just bought the song.
He just bought the song. So he had to pay that lawsuit, but then he was like, all right, so now I own that song and the track from it. There, the publishing goes to me, and they were like, well, you won this one, Rob Van Winkle. For me, it's Tie Your Mother Down. That's my favorite.
Right song.
Such a fun, like just that buzz song. Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They don't have as many.
If I'm to give a legitimate answer, I do love Somebody to Love. Killer Queen is great.
Oh, I also
I'm just looking at the greatest hits.
A band putting their name in a song, but it's not about the band. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like how Motorhead is the best example of this. Is that they have a song called Motorhead, which is about a speed freak. But if you ask Lemmy, he is not a Motorhead, even though it's like, bro, you are.
Yeah. Apparently, at one point, his blood was like 30% heroin or something.
No,
So-
the stories in his book is he went to the clinic in Fiji where Keith Richards goes every year to have his blood cleaned. And Lemmy very famously is incredibly anti-heroin. He's pro all other drugs. But one of his girlfriends and one of his girlfriends died of an overdose. And another friend of his, apparently, so dealers occasionally used to just sell some of the heroin as rat poison because they were, I don't know why. And this guy thought he bought heroin, but it was rat poison. So he just watched a friend die in a toilet cubicle in Piccadilly. So he's like super anti-heroin. But he went to go get his blood rejuvenated because he had some health problems. And the doctors are like, if we do that, it'll kill you. Your toxicity level in your blood is so high. The only reason you're alive is it was done at such a slow pace. All your organs have adjusted.
Yes.
So like you're fine. Like they're like you're gonna, and it was just like, and like basically, yeah. Like some people can just take it, and like 75. That guy was the first. Remember in 2016 where every celebrity died? He was the first one. Everyone says Bowie, but fuck you. Lemmy fucking started it.
It was 2015 as well,
which I understand some people argue with, but also let me.
I remember there's a comic book, like a little like caricature thing of somebody being like. Went on the news saying Bowie had died, and the person being like, "Oh, I've just bought my Motorhead T-shirt," like just jumping on bandwagons of stuff. So yeah, but back to Queen. When was the last time you watched their Live Aid performance? Their Live Aid performance. When was the last time you
Like
watched it?
6 weeks ago. Definitely during Edinburgh, I would have watched it like 80 times because I get so it's so fucking
I
great.
don't think I've watched it
Come
for
on.
a while.
Okay.
Come on,
Have you
Ashley.
seen? Because I think one of
so
Bohemian Rhapsody, the film, drove me fucking insane because music biopics anyway.
So
are
I was going to
fucking
say I
weird.
watched that movie this year, and so I watched that version, but that's not the same thing.
Yes, and it's annoying because like the timeline is wrong, and also I just think it's always really hilariously bad. Any music biopic films, and they're like, "And this is how we wrote the song," and they're like, "Stamp your feet."
Yeah.
Or we're writing it now, are we? And it's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But go watch just every, I'd say, month. Go watch Queen at Live Aid if you just want to see a band in like one of the biggest bands in the world, one of the best bands in the world, in their prime, nailing being themselves in front of millions of people.
But also, it saved their career. They were sort of, everyone was like, why are you putting them where they are? It's because what's his face from the Boomtown Rants was like, well, we don't want anyone to have to follow Freddie Mercury. And they were like, but they weren't popular at that time. They couldn't really break America. And then Freddie Mercury
break America because of I Want to Break Free. Because of the music video. With them all dressed as ladies.
Is that true? Oh, I thought you were making a joke.
No. They genuinely couldn't break. They basically they were doing okay in America, and they played like Madison Square Garden and stuff. And then after I Want to Break Free came out, they kind of lost their vibe. And then when it came out that he was gay and stuff, it kind of put it down.
See, it's so funny. Here's my question. What are the Freddie Mercury hand gestures he does when he first runs it? I've watched that clips. That's one of my... That
You're
is
thinking of his legs up and down like that.
But he's also doing this week. At one point, I don't know what it is, but he does like a weird like hand gesture to the crowd. He does all this weird...
he does like a this, doesn't it? It's not
I've
quite
watched that clip. That and Amy Sedaris giving a tour of her neighborhood in the East Village. I've probably watched 10,000 times. I find them so pleasing and enjoyable. That one, also David Letterman saying goodbye to his family on his last show ever. There's just a moment where for no reason he introduces his son's friend. Kills me every time. Yeah, and my son Harry wanted me to introduce his friend Phil. Everyone, Phil DeGiorgio, look at that kid. Gets me. But yo, just Freddie Mercury runs out. Ashley, if you haven't seen it, slicked hair, the tightest undershirt that reveals no nibble, the wisp of hair. A threat. And then he does all these weird hand gestures. He's got this weird little stick. Oh, it's amazing. Let me tell you, that stupid Queen movie could eat my butt. I'll tell you what movie I absolutely fucking loved, and that was Baz Luhrmann's Elvis. Holy fucking shit. That's
the new one.
That's how you
That looks really, really good.
I'm trying to work on a bit at the moment that I probably won't do about Elvis. Because I asked my friend being like, how much do they go into the kid fucking with Elvis?
Oh, very much not at all.
And he was like, oh, they gloss it over. Because I want to do a bit about how like you're like, who hates Prince Andrew? Who likes Elvis? Elvis fucked younger kids than
this
Prince
is news
Andrew.
to me.
Oh, you didn't know about this?
You know his wife when he moved into his house when she was 13? Elvis Presley, everybody.
Hang on. How dare you? I believe she was 14 and she lived with his parents for a bit. Which is even greater because his mom was dead at that point. So it was just, she lived with his dad, which you're just like...
You know what was a horrid, like... What was a kind of
this
a
is going to be
difficult...
good at whatever I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Did either of you watch the Aretha Franklin one?
Absolutely
Respect.
not. There was no way that was going to be accurate to Aretha Franklin's actual story, which was super talent, knows she's talented, and just bullies white people until they make her famous, as was her deserved.
I don't know how legitimate it was in that regard, but her personal life, there was a lot about her personal life I did not know, and I kind of wish I still didn't.
Oh no.
It's
I don't know.
bleak. She had her first child when she was 12.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Like
all those old rock and roll stars were not
especially like the South priest.
Because she was just being abused.
Yeah, you have to remember, there was a reason why they put in a Civil Rights Act. Is that like from basically at 5 years into Reconstruction, Ulysses S. Grant nearly tanks the economy because he's a drunk guy and doesn't know how to do anything. as the president. So they have to make a deal with the southern states, which basically removes federal controls over what's going on in those states. So by the time you're in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, the black population's being basically abused out of existence by the white population. Total segregation. Yeah, the abuse and stuff like that was going on was absolutely fucking insane. Ray Charles went blind because it was a very simple infection, but there was just, we're not going to waste a doctor on a fucking little black kid in Mississippi because America still is very evil in that department and continues this, like, the southern structure of status and all that sort of stuff is so not discussed. And it's this weird thing of America keeps forgetting, like, well, we passed the Civil Rights Movement or Act, don't need to do anything about that. Oh, they just shot a bunch of people. Well, that's fine. Oh, well, we have a black president. Oh, race is solved in America. Oh, wait, 700% rise in hate groups the first year of Obama's presidency. Like, it's so bleak. Of course you don't want. Yeah, of course, Aretha Franklin. Yeah, she's singing songs about respecting her.
Watch.
Oh yeah.
Can I, just to make it
go on, David,
nicer, did you know that Say a Little Prayer, which was written by what's his name, the guy that wrote Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, it's about wives at home thinking of their husband who's in Vietnam in war.
Yeah.
And as soon as you know, I didn't know that at all, and then as soon as I heard it, you go listen to that song, you're like, oh, this song makes 100% sense.
Sorry, I was just checking something. What song was that? Sorry, I didn't.
Say a Little Prayer for You by Aretha Franklin. It is about it's like a wife of a partner who's away in war in Vietnam, and she's thinking about him, which is like, I say a little prayer for you every day I wake up. And I just hadn't really thought about it. And the more you think about it, you're like, oh, this is like a yeah, Burt Bacharach. Thank you very much, Baldy. Burt Bacharach, the playlist of Burt Bacharach songs.
Oh yeah, he's like he's like the guy from who's this? Who does Closing Time? That song?
Oh, the guy. Yeah, the guy from Semisonic.
So that guy like is basically who has written all the Adele songs, and he's just like, there's these people like Burt Bacharach's another one. Was like, why does Burt Bacharach have a house on the moon? And it's like, oh, the key of A? He invented that. You're like,
Also, did you know that Respect, originally not by Aretha Franklin, by Otis Redding, I believe?
I did know because she didn't think that.
No, they didn't try and that's addressed in the film.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be like
she sort of changed it a lot though. She totally restructured it.
Just one of those songs that like when you're like, I didn't know that was a cover because she like owns it so much.
I just like in the Blues Brothers.
It isn't a straight up cover. It's quite different to his version.
Also, sisters are doing it for themselves. Her and the Eurythmics. Maybe like in my top 10 songs, I reckon. It's fucking good.
Here's a weird one. Which one do you prefer, the Aretha or the Eurythmics one? I'm going to Eurythmics.
Them two together.
Is it them together?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was about to finish that sentence by being like, I didn't think they did separate and then came together. I thought okay, great. So, clarify. The Aretha Franklin song I think is the best is Think. It's in the Blues Brothers. I love that they didn't go with Respect, which was the big song.
I know this isn't an Aretha Franklin song, but Try a Little Tenderness. The version that's in the Commitments.
Yes.
Let me
I thought you were going to say the version that's in Shrek because that's the one I think.
Do you ever slice into a chicken breast and then when it's really good, you turn to someone and go, "You should try a little tenderness"? I'm speaking about my chicken breast.
Try a Little Tenderness is such a great song. The entire album of the Commitments soundtrack is so good. I was just moving right past that.
I've never been so pleased with a terrible joke.
I had questions for you. I know we're probably going to back to that up because you were saying about your favorite YouTube videos that you watch just when you need a pick-me-up. I watch a very particular recording of
Tuck is here. Sorry. Hello, Tuck. Chris was here. He had to leave early.
See you on Wednesday, Tuck. I watch a very particular recording of Peter Gabriel's In Your Eyes that's 9 minutes long, and it's them in the round, and it's fucking awesome. And I have a few other, like, there's an Incubus recording that I was at that I watch. Ashley, what are your like go-to like YouTube videos that you just put on every couple of days?
Can I have a guess? I want to have a guess before you answer, Ashley. She doesn't have some. Ashley seems like the type she can like it's.
I could. It's probably Garth Brooks is my thing.
Oh, why wouldn't it be?
Do you know what? Gareth Brooks is quite difficult to find online. He doesn't have his music on Spotify, and the YouTube videos are all lyrics videos.
It's
and
true.
they're not proper. They're not the proper sound.
He's an insane man, isn't he?
I adore Gareth Brooks.
I know.
The
doesn't mean he's not insane.
YouTube video. There's one YouTube video that I go back to a lot, and it's not like it's a song by a rapper guy.
Yeah.
And it's an acoustic version of it's a guy called Ren and Sam Tompkins, and they do this song called Blind Eyed, and the rap in it is just so good that but it's an acoustic rap, and I just love it.
That's awesome. I just know that everyone has them. That's why I'm like, because everyone has them, and they're never like, it's never like fucking Gangnam Style or something massive. It's always like you're weird. Like I watch that.
It's a really weird specific thing, but because they haven't released it as like a recorded song thing, it's only on this YouTube video.
I will also go real deep on like certain weirdo comedians' podcast appearances. Like this was like the beginning of COVID, but there was a big feud between the Comedy Unleashed people and Will Franken, and I gotta tell you, I went so deep on like their podcast appearance discussing like literally views of like 4, and I'm adding like a 5th view, and I love it. Like just unnecessary, needless bullshit drama from like just I hate both sides of this. Let's get to like deep niche Canadian comedy feuds. I am following and I am aware. Oh, it started on an Instagram Live. Is it on their page? Like
Comedy Unleashed. Oh, is Comedy Unleashed the kind of edgy people, or is that
Comedy Unleashed is the guy who does Tatiana McGrath's comedy night at the backyard, and so basically what happened is they very much started bringing in various luminaries of the like free thinking circle. Will Franken is like very arch right. Will Franken is the summation of someone who is like, good God, do I not agree with this guy's politics at all? But my God, maybe one of the most brilliant in terms of structuring of a comedic performance over an hour. Unbelievable. So his 2012, 2013, 2014 shows were amazing. And then Trump's rise drove him insane. Is basically what happened.
Speaking of going like listening to comedy podcasts. So I'm going to bring something up on the screen. I tweeted this the other day. Did my name get mentioned on a podcast or something recently? I had a random flurry of Facebook friend requests in quick succession from a certain similar demographic of people, which was young male comics. I had this, and it was just one of those things where I was like, why? Because I don't really use Facebook anymore. So I was like, why am I getting friend requests from people I don't know? And I was just like, and the only thing I could think of was somebody's mentioned me somewhere.
Can
this
I
isn't
give my theory? Because I think I know. No,
yes, you can. But
you were on. There was that video that somebody uploaded of the guy being like, "I don't usually like female comedians," and you were there. Was it not?
What's this?
That's another thing that I'll get into in a minute.
I thought you were there, and then because clearly like you had that clip got sent around everywhere. I saw you retweet it and said that this carried on, and therefore that you were probably had been. I kind of worked out that you were there, and I can imagine that. I mean, there are.
I'm in the video.
Yeah,
you can. You can see me in the video.
It's that then. It's a bunch of male comedians going like, I know how to, because like. There are certain comedians, like somebody adds you on Facebook and you've never heard them before, and they've got 300 mutual friends, and they've just started comedy, and their way of doing it is just adding everybody.
It's just adding people that they hear mentioned somewhere or whatever. So
that's
it could have been that, except this happened before that. So I was just like, somebody has mentioned me somewhere, and it's so fucking validating. Because I found the podcast where I got mentioned. But it's so frustrating.
Oh no!
Why? What? How were you mentioned?
So I was briefly mentioned on Elliot Steele and Michael Adewale's podcast. And it's so funny because
did he
I don't
say?
I don't listen to their podcast. I randomly listened to one episode because I will dip into comics podcasts, like a random episode here and then, mostly to bounce off our podcast, just to be like checking in with what other people are doing and see how the vibe
Right.
is. So I just kind of went into that, and it was an episode. It was the episode right after the Queen died, so I was like, they're probably going to have some fun with this. And they had Vittorio Angeloni on, and I had just seen Elliot that weekend, and it's just the most frustrating thing because he goes, "Oh yeah, I was talking to Ashley Manning at the weekend," which we had been. And then Vittorio interrupts him, and he never comes back to say what he was going to say about me.
What an ending.
And I'm just like, that's infuriating.
I'll tell you what else is infuriating.
It's it's just so validating that I was right, that somebody said my name on a podcast.
By the way, the name of the podcast, the B-Tech Philosophers. Please
B-Tech
check
Philosophers. It's a good podcast.
Is their podcast just them talking about how Elliot Steele's going to fight Will? Is that all
It should. The more
I mean, that's all
episodes than
our
not.
podcast
Yeah,
is.
that's our podcast. I hate this. I have to. I didn't realize we're voting on 4 minutes. I have to run. I have to be done at 4.
You do have to run.
Sorry.
Okay. We're
David,
gonna have to
popping in
go.
again. I'm going to pop in and out. I'm in Atlanta
Yum.
next week for a comedy festival. I think I'll be here, but that will be determined. We are recording a Patreon episode this week that will be out at some point. David,
ASAP.
for popping in. Let us raid.
Yes, I have it.
Can I plug quickly?
Yes, of course, David. Plug
I'm
away.
doing gigs in a place called London this week.
Where?
Ooh.
It's southeast. I'm doing ACMS. I'm gonna probably be on early at ACMS, and then I'm running over to headline.
That's on Wednesday, right?
So far, yeah. And I'm headlining Sofa So Funny in the evening, and then I believe I'm doing Covent Garden Comedy Cellar on Thursday. So if you're around in that London, then please
Go
come.
for it. Wednesday is my birthday, so
Oh.
that's my plug.
Celebrate.
But also, I'm performing at McCool's Material Girl tomorrow night in Glasgow.
Oh my God. Well, guys, be there. Check those things out. Support everyone on social media. Do you have an
Yeah, are
ability
we
to
gonna-
trigger a raid, Ashley? Because I do.
Yeah,
not.
let's head on over to George Fox.
George Fox. Say hi to George
My
Fox.
nemesis.
Raid message, everyone, is
David says boo.
David says boo. Also, can we ask George Fox a lot if he mentioned Ashley on a podcast? Make sure to ask him if he mentioned her on a
Yeah,
podcast.
that's good.
Yeah. Okay, I've already started the raid, so here's an old lady talking about sex. Bye.
And that's all. Penis into her vagina. And that's all. And that's called sexual intercourse. Some people call it having sex. So the man passes the sperm to the woman, and now his sperm is in her